All right, we should be good. A2HH live. Let's get the DJ hands. Coop, you hear me? We good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
good. I
good.
can
I
hear
can
you
hear you
fine.
fine.
We are awesome. Yes. Yeah, that looks a lot better. The actual picture and the audio and all of those things look and sound so much better. Thumbs up in the chat. Get people in the room here. I think let me make sure that we are live on this end. It's showing that we're live, but I don't know if people are getting their notifications right now. But we will check on those things. It's been a very busy day, man. Wednesdays be crazy.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Always. Let's see. We got one person in the room right now. Let's
Nah,
see.
Just
people are
people
coming
coming
in.
in.
It just
It just
jumped up
jumped
to
up to
26.
26.
So.
So
Okay, cool. People are coming in slowly but surely. But yes, and we are back. Shout out to Born Gifted. Shout out to everybody in the room. So yes, I think that today it's a good time for us to have a meeting of the minds and hip hop state of the union when it comes to hip hop media. What say you?
Um,
um,
actually,
actually,
I want to know
I
how
know
I
how
want
I
to
want to
start this
start
off.
this
I
off.
want
I
to
want to
start
start
off
off
with
with
something
something my man
LT
LT
sent me.
sent me.
Shout out
Shout
to
out to
LT,
LT,
always
always
coming
coming
through.
through.
Of course.
This is
This
what
is what
I'm
he.
going
I'm
to
going to
read
read
our
our
text
text
thread
thread
word
word
for
for
word.
word right.
Okay.
He
He
said, I'm
said, "I'm
finally
finally
watching the
watching the
A2HH
A2HH
from
from
Monday.
Monday.
Please
Please don't
forget
forget
that
that
Fuego
Fuego
Base
Base
came on
came on
twice
twice
for an
for an
interview.
interview.
Y'all only
Y'all only
mentioned J
mentioned J
Skis and
Skis and
Love.
Love.
Fuego is
Fuego is
very
very
eager to
eager to
speak with
speak with
y'all and
y'all and
appreciates
appreciates
y'all.
y'all.
Don't
Don't
forget to
forget to
mention that
mention
he
that he
came
came
through and
through and
rocks with
rocks with
y'all.
y'all.
And
And
so I
so I
want to
want to
give
give
Fuego his
Fuego his
props. And
props. And
Fuego is
Fuego is
signed to
signed to
Benny's
Benny's
label
label
BSF.
BSF.
For sure.
And
Yeah,
me
he
and
Me and
sent me that message as well, and I wanted to make sure we shouted out Fuego as well. They're
no,
saying you're echoing pretty bad, Coop.
yeah, I
yeah, I
mean
mean
that's the
that's the
Ecamm.
Ecamm.
I
I
can't
Oh,
can't
really
is
really
it?
control.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're echoing. All right. How about this, man? Go ahead.
Fuego,
Fuego,
Fuego and
Fuego
I
and I
actually
actually
kicked it
kicked it
after the
after the
interview.
interview.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Like I
fuck
fuck
with
with
Fuego,
Fuego,
and I
and
don't
I
want
don't
him
want
to
him to
feel
feel
any
any
type of
type of
way.
way.
And
And
I'm gonna
I'm
tell
gonna
you
tell you
exactly
exactly
what I
what I
texted
texted
LT
LT
back.
back.
I said
I
we
said
don't
we don't
want
want
anyone
anyone
feeling any
feeling any
type of
type of
way.
way.
It just
It just
seems like
seems
the
like the
love be
love be
one-sided
one-sided
sometimes, but
sometimes, but
that's
that's
not
not
everyone
everyone
for
for
sure.
sure.
He
He
said,
said,
"Yes,
yes,
sir. All
sir. All
respect for
respect for
sure. Just
sure.
making
Just
sure
making
the
sure the
fans know
fans
that
know that
grassroots
grassroots
artists
artists
that are
that are
not on
not on
major
major
label
label
obligations from
obligations from
BSF
BSF
Griselda do
Griselda do
come
come
through and
through and
love the
love the
platform."
platform.
And I
And I
said,
said,
"Facts. I
facts.
will
I will
bring it
bring
up
it
on
up
the
on the
show
show
today."
today.
He said,
He
"It's
said, it's
all
all
good,
good,
much
much
appreciated. I
appreciated. I
definitely
definitely
understand what
understand
y'all
what y'all
said,
said,
though,
though.
and it's
And it's
true.
true.
Due to
Due to
Benny
Benny
being on
being
the
on the
label
label
like that
like
and his
that and his
plan to
plan to
expand
expand
beyond the
beyond the
normal
normal
grassroots,
grassroots,
as
as
Harlem
Harlem
mentioned in the
mentioned in the
statement,
statement,
going
going
beyond the
beyond
East
East
Coast."
Coast.
Hold
I
on,
I
Coop.
understand.
They're
understand
saying they
that.
can't understand you. Hold on. Let's make sure your audio is right. Yeah. Um. Let's see. Something now. Yeah, because I see what people are saying. Hold on, Coop. They're saying they can't understand you. Hold on. Let's make sure your audio is right. All right, speak real quick, Coop. Yeah.
Yo,
No, I mean like in full sentences, so we can.
speak in full sentences.
Okay. Let me see, man. We're gonna get this right. Yeah, because I see what people are saying. Hold on. Mm, bear with us 1 second, guys. All right, speak real quick, Coop. No, I mean like in full sentences, so we can. Yeah, I think we're good now. So go ahead, say everything that you were saying before.
So LT hit me up. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good now. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I've been hearing you fine the whole
Okay.
time. I'm just making sure everybody.
Okay. Just had to do some setting stuff. But go ahead.
Okay. He said, "I'm finally watching the A2HH show for Monday. Please don't forget that Fuego Base came on twice for an interview. Y'all only mention Love and Jay Skis. Fuego is very eager to speak with y'all and appreciates y'all. Don't forget to mention that he came through and rocks with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I hit L back, and I'm reading everything that me and him chatted about word for word. I said, I got you. I said, and we don't want anyone feeling any type of way. It just seems like the love be one sided sometimes, but that's not everyone for sure. He said, yes, sir. All respect for sure. Just making sure the fans know the grassroots artists that are not on major label obligations from BSF / Griselda do come through and love the platform. I said, facts. I will bring it up on the show today. He responded, it's all good. Much appreciated. I definitely understand what y'all said, though, and it's true. Said, due to Benny being on the label like that and his plan to expand beyond his normal grassroots, as Harlem mentioned in the statement, going beyond East Coast. But I understand the sentiment you and Mike expressed for sure.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. And I said, similar things to LT as well. Shout out to LT. And no, we don't want to forget anybody. When we're doing our live thing, it's a lot of things going on, obviously, and you see even with the audio and dealing with that and controlling the crowd. Sometimes, we don't remember to mention every single thing. You ever watch our show back and be like, how did I forget that in that moment? You know what I mean? But that's what that was. That wasn't blame it on the mind, not the heart, right?
I think that some of just comes with what we do, Mike. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I've expressed this to people. We do a legit live show.
yeah.
Like, not pre recorded. And so the fact that it's not pre recorded, we can miss some things. And so we miss Fuego, and shout out to Fuego. Like, me and Fuego and my homie B, Loose Screw, we kicked it after the interview. Like, I fucks with Fuego and his team. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Fuego came Fuego came through the old studio. I mean, a lot of people don't know we're in the process of transitioning. But yeah, Fuego came through. You know what I'm saying? And showed love. And it's like, I don't ever want him to feel like that the love's not there, especially, you know what I mean, when he comes down here. So we're all wavy, you know?
No, for sure. It's a lot we want to get to today, man. Let me see where our guys are at, man. Uh, because this is about to be epic. I think that we need more of these things. We haven't really had a full out discussion with both podcasts together since the Jay Z and Nas thing. I think we did, and
Has it
I'm interested to hear. Huh?
has it been that long?
I think it has. Yep, yep. Conway has some music on the way. How are you feeling about? Well, I don't. I think it's a single, right? It's not a full project with Cool and Dre. What do you think about Conway and Cool and Dre?
I mean, I'm excited about the possibilities for him. It definitely sounds like, I mean, it sounds like they're definitely trying to expand their horizons and broaden their sound.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt like that's what Westside was trying to do on his last album. I just don't think it connected well. I like the route that Benny and Conway are going by reaching out to some heavy hitter producers to give them a different sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to get lost in, it goes back to that whole Mobb Deep thing again. I don't want them to get lost into like the core following of what made them either. So it's like I still want to hear Conductor and Derringer on there as well.
Yeah, I think in this environment, and thumbs up in the chat, everybody. Let's get some people in here because this is about to be a great show, about to be an epic one. Got Mad Max in here with super chat. Up, think we got somebody in here as well. Jarvis jumping in. See if we get Jarv in the building. Jarvis on standby here. How you doing, sir? I'm gonna get you on the screen real quick. Let me get Mad Max super chat. He says, "I'm here for the Tupac and Kanye esque rants from Coop. About to have D1 pause. NWA Legends take. What did you think about what D1 said
About what?
about NWA? He said that basically it needs to be their legendary status needs to be stripped because of the content that they do or did or famous for.
Mike.
I know,
D1
Coop.
D1 can suck a dick. Shut up.
Oh man! All right, let's get
Oh,
let's get
hold on,
Jarvis here.
Mike.
Hold on.
I'm sorry to fix that. D1 can suck a dick. Pause.
That's a bit much. Hold on. Look. Oh, got all the screens up here. Oh, got more people coming in. Rap stop. Boom, boom. Let's
What
see.
up?
What's up, fam? Can everybody see everybody?
Yeah,
I don't see.
I see Mike, I see Coop. I think there's another
Okay.
screen loading up right now.
Let's see. His screen is loading up. That's Mace. All right. We got another one coming in. Sincere is in the building. Let's get everybody here. Okay. Got everybody here, but I got to get everybody on the screen, and then we're gonna be Gucci. Probably got a couple of me's right now. Get that one out the way, and waiting on one screen to load up. I see Sincere.
Yes,
I
yes,
see Jarv. I see
yes,
Coop
yes.
here. Appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Peace to everybody in the chat.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
What up?
Okay. Well, I
What
guess
up? What up?
we were at the take that D1 just put out there earlier. I think he was on the Art of Dialogue, and he said based on the lyrical content and some would say the negative impact of NWA, their legendary status
Yeah.
needs to be stripped, or there needs to be an asterisk by it. What say you guys? I want to start with. I mean, I see Sincere here first. I'm going to start with Sincere here.
Listen, man. D1. I don't know who keeps putting the mic in front of this kid's face, but nah. I'm just about tired of hearing his opinions, man. Look, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but like when you start parsing through and trying to judge through the history of hip hop, what people have said, what people have done, who deserves to be a legend, who doesn't, based on certain content that he doesn't agree with, that man, you could keep that, man. He is entirely too high and mighty. And this is coming from, like, look, the whole gang was uh jumping me in the last session, the last live, because I be on my self righteous shit too, but like D1 is like he's wilding, bro. He's wilding. Like it's just uh too much Bible thumping for me. It's too much like believing or reciting everything that the Bible says word for word and then applying that to everything. He's very heavy in the Christian world, so it's just it's too overly righteous for me, man. I hope from now on he just keeps his opinions to himself, and nobody keeps putting a mic in front of him, man.
Jar, what say you?
Um, Coop honestly gave the best answer. So because I don't wanna rehash that. I'll just say that while he does have a legitimate message, everything becomes gimmicky. Like this is a gimmick now. Like now that he knows that there's microphones in front of his face, he's become quote clickable. He's gonna start saying things, and most people in media, what they realize if there's a certain lane to zig in, if you zag in the opposite direction, you'll get some traction. Not to say that he doesn't believe what he says, but obviously he's doing this because he's lit now. He's quote viral, and in my opinion, it's corny. I don't really need to hear from this guy. I don't give a damn about what he has to say. If he's not contributing to the culture, because this is what it's about. This is not nothing religious. Hip hop is not quote religious. So why do we need to hear from D1? If you're not adding something to it, don't, because what you're doing essentially is taking away from it. You think you're being positive, but in fact you're being negative because you're pulling down other black people. And until he understands that perspective, he's just wasting everybody's time. If Vlad is giving him interviews, Vlad is doing what Vlad gonna do. But hip hop does not give
How y'all
You
feeling?
want to give your take real quick before we get to Mace?
I mean, I love what Sin and what Jar said. It's just like, I mean, see, this is why he kind of offends me on a personal level. Is like I am a Christian, and it's like the holier than thou attitude and approach that he has is part of why people are hesitant about the Christian church. That I'm better than you attitude that that it takes people away from it, like on a religious level. And then there's the fundamental rap level of like, when did you become like um, an editor or an auditor of this culture. You know what I mean? Like, at what point did that occur? And so I'm kind of like in sync with what Jarv and Sin were saying respectively about it. Like, like he personally is starting to piss me off a little bit, because I really mean this when I say it's like, this is why people like talk about the Christian church the way that they do, because it's this holier than thou, I'm better than you, this doesn't fit here or there attitude. Like, it just doesn't fit today's culture. There's no humility in it. There's no honesty in it. And it's like, you don't know how important NWA is to like black culture and like the trends that they set. You're the one that's lost, not us.
They're important to a whole coast. What say you, Mace?
Specifically, I'm just, I got in late, guys.
Oh,
Specifically,
no,
what we
no.
getting at here?
All right, so this is what we're talking about here. D1 just had a take on Art of Dialogue.
Ah,
They were talking about NWA and, the Drink Champs interview where it was said that NWA's impact was negative. I think it was Special Ed. And D1
right.
said that he feels like NWA's legendary status needs to be stripped because of the negative impact they've had on hip hop culture.
Well, I get where D1 is coming from, right? And honestly, the mission that he's on, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I feel like we need that a lot in today's culture, and with such this degeneracy going on everywhere, right? But the thing is, we can't we can't just pretend, right? Like, whether it's negative or positive, shit can be legendary, right? There's things that we say live in infamy, right? Because they were so bad, but we all know what's going on. So it's like, regardless of whether Special Ed and whether D1 want to attribute a lot of this shit going on today to strictly NWA and not the record label owners, not Jimmy Iovine, not these guys. You know what I mean? If that's where he wants to go with it, I understand. But no, should they be stripped of their legendary status because of the negativity? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? If anything, something the fact that it could give such negative impact adds even more to his legendary status, right? Something that changed the culture in such a direct way, in such a way that we all can see clearly. So no, absolutely not. And that's with all due respect to where D1 is coming from, because I do respect him. I listened to a few of his interviews, and I get his message. But absolutely not. They're not legendary because they're negative. That doesn't even make any sense to me.
It comes across as clout chasing when it seems like any and everybody who is at a certain status, it's like you're coming at from a positive standpoint, and I get it, and I think that it comes from a good place, kind of like when me and Coop were first talking about it. But there is some clout chasing in there, and I do think that NWA specifically, they were a reflection of reality. And if you want to be mad at anything, you got to be mad at the realities that these guys and the people around them had to experience to be able to express it in that way.
Well
And so,
said.
and what are we supposed to
Well,
not just reflect the realities and speak on it? Are we going to take Boys in the
well,
Hood off the
you
shelf?
got. Here's the thing: you got to understand though that people in this world, they don't see it as clout chasing or being hungry for attention. They see it as spreading the gospel. You know what I mean? So they see it from a completely different angle and a different light. So to him, yeah, obviously he's gonna any opportunity that they have that he has to for them to put a mic in front of his face for him to quote unquote spread the gospel, he's gonna take it. You know what I mean? So he's never gonna see it as clout chasing. Even if you tell him, "Yo, bro, like put the clout chasing," he's like, "I bet you, that $10,000." He'll be like, "I'm not clout chasing. That's what they do. I'm spreading my gospel."
Okay,
Can I
Nicole with the
piggyback?
super chat. Go ahead. Go. I was going to go to the super chats, but go ahead.
Let me just piggyback off of what Sin said right quick. Like, if you're a Christian and you read, so in the New Testament, Paul talks about his celibacy. And he talks about his celibacy in relationship to what the other disciples are doing to let you know that those guys were sinners. It's like, no, they drank, they curse, they sin. That's part of why they were chosen. And that's what I mean about this holier thou attitude comes off like you're not even familiar with your own word. Because if like you knew their own word, there were very few people that are chosen, even within the lineage of Jesus, if you believe in Jesus, that were actually, you know, free or absolved from sin. David murdered people and, had an affair with his wife. Solomon had many wives and called upon demons to help build temples. Peter called down angelic forces that he wasn't really called to do. It's like if you really do your reading, you would know that part of being a Christian is not being above reproach. And so it comes off like he doesn't even know his own word.
K Nicole with the super chat says,
Thanks,
I
man.
read his exact quote, and it's actually worse than paraphrase. He says, and I'm a PK, preacher's kid. He says, God uses sinners in the Bible to send a stronger message about grace and triumph all the time. AJ3 with the super chat says, there has to be violence and racism there has been, violence and racism long before NWA and hip hop was born. Yeah, straight up. I mean, it's easy to point.
And here's my other issue. Has D1 does he have any quotes? Has anybody asked him, or has he given his opinion on the larger systemic issues that have led to why NWA was saying what they were saying on records, or is he just chastising, the NWAs and the gangster rappers and the people in the hood, and not looking at how people in the hood got to be the way they are in the hood? Like, has he had any opinion whatsoever on that? And if he hasn't, then he needs to shut the fuck up.
There it is. When Coop told me that we were going to be doing this, man, I was really excited for many reasons. But one of the main reasons is, man, I wanted to get a live where all of us could talk about spoken word jigger. And I want to know what the climate in New York was like, you know what I'm saying, when that record dropped and people heard those bars from the GOAT, or from many people's GOAT. And like what's the rhythm like up there with spoken word jigger? Y'all feeling it? Is that the next phase? Are we going back?
I mean,
we got a flute player down
Diego
here, so
it ain't
His
it ain't
pace.
it, bro. It ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no bill you could shoot for that verse. Like granted, like we talked about it on Friday on the lunch hour where we said there's an obvious artistic approach they were aiming for with the song in totality. All right, cool. But I don't want that from Jay-Z. Nobody wants that from Jay-Z, like at all. Like that's not what we signed up for when we got on the Jigger roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? The Jigger man, as we call him on the rap roundtable. Like that's not it. Like it's it's terrible. And some people are saying, all right, he did this on previous works. He did it on the JLEC project. He did it on 444, but he didn't overdo it like that. If there was a little spoken word energy on those projects because he switched up his flow, if you deem it as such as a listener, I can't tell you what to hear, but I can say from my listening experience, it wasn't that. Like this man was damn near chanting on that record on the soundtrack, and it was hot ass. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want that from Jay-Z, and it's not good. And on top of it, like I said before, if I get the soundtrack and I'm just showing love to the Rock Nation production, and I happen to stumble across a Jay-Z verse and he's doing this and it's just staying out the way he tried some shit, I wouldn't have been so mad. But the fact that you promoted it, you did a pre-release on Hot 97, you did the Twitter Space rollout that you do every time you drop some shit, you miraculously pop up on Twitter Spaces. So you made it a thing. And if this is a thing, a 10 bar, 1 minute poem that you said you wanted to keep going on, you got the wrong people around you. But again, like I said on the rap roundtable, shout out to the Rock Nation engineers for telling him, don't do that shit no more. We're gonna stop this verse right here. Whoever stopped him from continuing and embarrassing himself, we thank Rock Nation for that. Hove cut the dreads off because it's like the reverse of Samson. The more hair you grow, the more you lose your powers. You know what I'm saying? Go get that light Caesar or get that dark Caesar, put your do rag back on, and figure this shit out. Because who is this guy? We didn't sign
It's
up for this.
funny.
Nobody asked for it.
It's funny you said that, Jar, because when he was getting interviewed by Gail, he said that his kids and his family and them like the dreads, but he wants to cut the dreads. He
Well,
wants to get back to the money making season. And that might
Yeah,
be
see,
what it is.
And I'll
is? I
pass
think
it
his
off.
family's
Usually, when
like,
we
yo,
become family, man, we get washed up out here, right? We
True.
lose our way. We put on some pounds. The outfits don't hit the same. Like we're watching Hov become washed in real time. Not the rapper, the man. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. I think his family, possibly his wife, might think that he cut the dreads off. He's gonna be out here in these streets like it's '03, '04 all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
They
might
might
get
not want that
American Gangster
older,
Jigger.
fatherly, husbandy Jay Z, Sean Carter, more so than they want Jigger Man or Hove. You know what I mean?
I mean, because
Um,
what great music have we gotten with him with the dread so far? Because I don't think, I mean, when you think about it, 444 wasn't even when he had the dreads, regardless of what people feel about 444.
it wasn't.
Mm.
Now
It
he
Yeah,
was in
was
the
444 he
growing
had
it,
Basquiat.
dreads by
but it
then.
wasn't
He was
like it
growing it
is
out, but
now.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't the
But I mean, man,
Basquiat.
I'm in the I still feel like I'm in the minority in terms of the general consensus out there, in the spaces. I didn't even like 444.
Me
You know what I
either.
mean? Like and I've held on to that opinion since day one. And I remember hearing it and then being like, "Yo, what the hell is this?" Like he's kind of like on a lot of the songs, not all of them, but a lot of them, he sounds like kind of out of pocket. He tried like the more spoken word type of delivery. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't want this from Ho. Like, and it's not even that I don't want it from him. It's that I don't think he pulls it off well. I don't think he executes it well.
Yeah.
Leave that to other. Leave that to a common. Leave that to what I mean, a most deaf. You know what I mean. But you've had so many flows and so many deliveries over the years. This is just not one of them, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Just you tried it, it didn't work out. Just put it aside. You know what I mean? But I remember, ever since 444, like I heard it, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this. And then I'd see all of the chatter, and the opinions online, like, oh my God, Jay Z just dropped another classic. I'm like, what are y'all listening to that I'm not hearing? Because this really ain't it, bro.
I felt the same. Coop, Mace, y'all want to go somewhere before I go to the super chat on this?
Nah, listen, you guys are 100% correct. Like, not only was it just a waste of time, especially because of the hype that came, James Samuel and everybody talking about this 9 minute Jay Z D'Angelo track. Not only that, but there's like, if you just came from an alien universe and you just listen to that, there's nothing about that would tell you Jay Z is a great rapper. Like, you literally would think this guy just started
Right.
rapping. Like, the flow's off, the voice is off. I don't care what he's talking about in the verse. Like, and that's kind of depressing, right? When to hear from one of our all time greats, to hear him rapping, and he's nowhere close to what he could do. You know what I mean? That's damn near Eminem vibes, if you want to be real. So it's like, I don't know. I maybe he got something in the tank.
Hover.
Maybe he gonna come, do his thing. But I was completely unimpressed by this 10 bar shit. I wish he was the worst part of the song. I just put it like that.
And real quick before Coop jumps in, notice that the song essentially disappeared on the internet. There's no
It did.
chatter. There's no random song or Instagram post when you just scroll and you see somebody. The song has kind of been wiped off the socials already, so that should tell you what it is.
No
Yeah.
quotes.
Just the
So
cigarette. I just remember a
What quote
cigarette
could you
bar.
even take out of that? Jigger 3000.
You go, Cooper. You want me to go to the super chats real quick because we got
no,
some in the
let me
queue.
go right quick. I'm gonna be brief. Remember, Mike, when I told you I heard it, I was like, "That's not even 16 bars." I was like, "I think that's 12." The
Yeah.
guys are saying that it's 10. It's not even 12. So it's like it's
Crazy.
bad, and I want to know, like I'm like y'all. I'm not a fan of 444. That's more about the production to me because I feel like the production is what took him out of pocket. But I'm with Sin. That's not what people want to hear from you. And if I do want to hear it from you, it's the version that was on a written testimony with Jay Electronica, because he is out rapping Jay Electronica on a written testimony. And I thought it was kind of a testament to him that after all these years that he could still tower over somebody like Jay Electronica. And so I guess sometimes it makes me wonder. I know the guy on 444 wasn't that good. I felt that was about the production because I feel like a written testimony's production was better and he was better. But what happened to the guy on a written testimony?
Mm.
Mm. Sometimes
Matt,
I think that those are old bars or old recordings, possibly. You know what I mean?
with Jay Electronica, you never
Mm.
know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
been working on an effort for 10 years, so those songs could be old. Thumbs up in the chat. We got Mad Max with the super chat. He says, "We not Jack and Hove, no more. Mike, we want S. Dot Carter back. Until then, Hove on timeout." When did y'all start calling him Hove up in New York? I wanted to ask y'all that too because I remember it was Hova's song, the intro and the outro on Volume 3, right? Did the whole Hove thing start like on Give It To Me on the Dynasty? It was like Hove, and then people still just call him Jay. Like people don't even call him Jay-Z anymore. It's just Hove.
More, more around 01, 02,
Um,
more Blueprint 2 era.
Okay.
it would, yeah, it would probably be around that era. Like the first thing that jumps out at me is PSA, but
Mm.
it was
Allow
probably a
me.
little bit
Yeah.
before PSA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
PSA
probably
probably
a
is
little
what
bit
put
before
the
that.
staple on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mall
he
7 with
himself,
the
like you go through like the mixtape era that he had like right before Blueprint 2 dropped, and then he dropped some more freestyles between Blueprint 2 and Black Album. He started leaning into the whole thing a lot heavier during that time, so we just adopted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mall 7 with the super chat says, "My whole thing is when people attack hip hop for explicit content, but be saying the same people, but I'm sorry, but be the same people who watch R-rated movies and shows, hypocrites." True. Think we got I think Leroy Green's in here, and I know he's really going to defend Jay's verse. I want to get to his super chat. Humble Brag with the super chat says,
No,
the weird part
no.
was when the movie was announced last year. They hyped it then, talked about Jay has something special coming, etc. Leroy Green
Yeah.
with Super Chat says, "Good to see the whole gang, but respectfully, the era we come from, when the OGs turn 50, they go in the house and chill with the fam. They don't be out here trying to appeal to the youth. So let that man live." That's the best he could come with.
Leroy, much
He can
love,
live
but quality
just
music, asking for quality
yeah.
music is not asking for him to appeal to the youth, bro.
If you
Like,
step to
come
the
on, man.
mic, you
Facts.
step to the mic. That's like if you go out there on the court and you go out there on the field, it's time to play. You can't say, you know
Yeah,
what, I'm on the
you're
field,
not.
but I'm old.
You're not.
Right.
You're not
I
injured when you
mean,
stepped on the field. You're not injured when you step on the field. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you might be 50 something, but as soon as you step into the studio, it's game on. It's not about your age. It's the same way with football. It's not about your injury. If you stepping into the booth, it's play ball time. And he is one of those guys that's going to be judged against the former version of himself. That's never going anywhere. He knows that as well as anybody.
hmm He
That's a
said
fact,
that.
and that's the thing. And that's the thing. Leroy, we know he's a staunch Hove fan, like as am I. But it's like you can't get into this pocket where you can't criticize your favorites. Like I love Hove, but when it's whack, it's whack. I've been on that. Sin could tell you that shit. There ain't been a time that a song was whack. I think when 444 dropped, I might have hit Sin like, yo, I don't think I like this album, bro. And he was like, you late.
yeah.
I was ready here. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be truthful about your
Facts.
favorites.
You know the
You
strange
got
thing about 444 is the people who really weren't big Jay-Z fans really loved it. But the
white
people
people.
that were
The
big
funniest
Jay-Z
thing,
fans like us hated it.
That's a
white
good
people
point.
like it.
Yeah.
That's a good
Anytime you
point.
start seeing a schism in rap that seems wrong, and you talk to enough black people about that particular topic, and we all say the same shit, it's the white people. Just default to that.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "This is like the Watch the Throne collabo of hip hop media platforms. Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
love.
y'all.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the love."
Already grown, I think we're better than that album was, but keep going.
Well,
Hey.
Speaking of Watch the Throne,
It was an
Coop
all right
doesn't
album.
believe Coop doesn't believe that Watch the Throne is a classic. And I know that
Mm.
we caught a lot of heat last episode when we said that Capital Punishment and Black on Both Sides aren't classic albums, they're just great albums. What do you guys think
Mhm.
about that assessment? I went back and listened to them again. I'm gonna say some more things, but I'm gonna start with you, Sin. Is Capital Punishment and
You
Black on
came.
Both
You
Sides a
came. You came
classic?
to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Facts.
Capital Punishment. I'll be completely honest about Capital Punishment. It's close, but it dragged
Yes.
on too long. Too many songs.
It
The
is.
Yep.
later songs near the end, just you should have just cut it off. You know what I mean? But it was so close. Like the first 75 to 80% of it was straight classic material, heat, bang after banger. If it would have just cut it off a little bit at the end, would have had undisputed classic, right? Still, to me, a personal classic. You know what I mean? Just avoid some of those later songs at the end. Black on Both Sides is where I think you guys are bugging the fuck out, because Black on Both Sides to me it's a brilliant, perfect album. It's a perfect album. It's got the bars, it's got the production, it's got a great intro and a great outro. It's got the content, it's got the commentary, it's got great collabs, it's got like classic songs, Miss Fat Booty, Umi Says. There's nothing that album does not have. It's, to me, absolute 5 mic classic up and down. The only thing, if I had like a minor gripe with it, it's the song Habitat. He could have cut off Habitat near the end. But that's just such a minor gripe, because it's a good song in and of itself. It just, could have done without it. But
So you think the production's at the
album,
level? You think the
Hold on.
production's at the level of like Reflection Eternal, like Water for Chocolate, and
Yes,
Things
yes.
Fall Apart?
Yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you mind?
You got Diamond D, you got
Short right
Ayatollah.
quick.
Go ahead, Cook.
Go for it, Coop.
First of all, I'm gonna tell you what, Sin. I listened to both of these albums back to back today, and I always thought Capital Punishment was a better album than Black on Both Sides, and I was wrong. Black on Both Sides is better than Capital Punishment. I took some notes right quick, and you actually took some of my notes away. The problem with Capital Punishment is that it has too many skits, and at the back end of the album isn't strong as like the first part of the album.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I was like, the songs are masterful. Pun is highly entertaining, and it's great production. The only problem that I could really say about Capital Punishment is the skits, the ending, and you really don't know who Pun is after listening to this album. Like, Capital Punishment, the song, is the only record where you really get to know Pun, and I guess my expectation for a debut album is that I get to know you. And so I listened to Capital Punishment, and then I listened to Black on Both Sides. I knew who the fuck Mos Def was after the first track. And Black on Both Sides, clear message. It's great on content and bars. He loves his people, and and so I'm gonna stand back a little bit. If you're saying that Black on Both Sides is a classic, I can totally see why. But and this is nitpicking. I feel like the production is good. It's not great. I hate the fact that he tips on a song where he's being used for the hook and he doesn't the verse, because I love that record. And I do feel like that none of the collabs on the album are necessarily great as Mos is. Like the Busta Rhymes record and the Talib record are not as great as they should be, in my opinion, because that's Busta in his prime, that's Talib in his prime. I don't love those records. I really enjoy those records, but if you told me Black on Both Sides was a classic, I can see why people feel that way.
You don't love Know That? Know That's hard.
Know That is crazy. That was originally my favorite song off the album when I first heard it.
Ooh.
One of them.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not with that. Like, I love Brooklyn. Umi Says, of course, mathematics, hip hop.
I love.
I just think. Yeah,
I love
feel like
God.
the production.
God, the tone, like the Tony hit on God, where it's like, it's a real, like, it's a serious message, but his delivery is so tongue in cheek. It just struck such a perfect balance. I'm like, bro, this guy's masterful, bro. He's Mos Def had it on that album, man.
I feel like classic albums usually have titles that reflect who the person is, reflect what the content is, and Black on Both Sides accomplishes that. Because when you see the album Black on Both Sides, and then you hear the title, and then you hear the songs and the content and the things that he's talking about and breaking down that are going on within our community. What's the song about water? The water crisis?
New World Water.
New World Water, yeah.
New World Water. It's like when he's talking about that shit, I'm like, I can see why people think it's a classic. Because it's got a lot of classic shit on there, and it's got a lot of timeless themes. The content matches the band, it matches the title of the album, and so I guess my gripe would be that I never really loved the production on it, although I felt like it had moments. But maybe he's just such a type of MC that he takes over some of the production. because I feel like great MCs do that.
Right. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Jar Mace.
When it comes to capital punishment, Sin and I, we've kind of had our debates about Big Pun. I think the album, when I'm not trolling Sin and I'm being dead serious, I think the album just suffers from the time that it was dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like I think when you think about 97, 98 and rap and what rap sounded like, if you could put yourself back in that time with like what commercial rap was doing, we have moved away from the West Coast bop. We moved away from the hard like Timberland rap. You know what I'm saying? 97, 98, when you go back to it sonically, it's a very strange time in hip hop. So it's like I think that Big Pun's album suffered from that kind of situation as far as the songs that were skipped. All the shits that were fire. But the skips for me on that album are very egregious skips on Capital Punishment. Like it's a lot of bloat. The Sonics are all over the place. I felt like rap in 98, even 99 to a certain degree. The projects outside of the underground wasn't very cohesive. You were just trying to make radio records. You were putting projects together. You were putting it out. A lot of gloss, a lot of, you know what I mean? But I spent a lot of time talking about black on both sides. That's where I want to jump in. When you say it's a classic, Sin, like what you mean, like amongst like that peer group? Because on Monday we talked about the backpackers. Is it a classic
Mhm.
amongst the backpackers or is it a hip hop classic?
That was my point too.
You want my take, or do you want me
I want your
to?
completely objective take. Is it a hip hop classic or a backpack classic?
No. But based on my opinion, based on how I see the space.
Both. Put it.
Both.
Well, the space is not clearly the space. If we take all of the spaces all in one, it doesn't fit enough Venn diagrams to be a hip hop classic. So it's not going to be deemed a hip hop classic. To me, it stands up there with all of the hip hop classics that we talk about. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. The Illmatics,
for me,
Reasonable Doubts, the Chronics, I'll put it up there in that tier. And I honestly, like, I was thinking some time ago, I was like, yo, I wish we would have a segment. We might still do it. I don't know. But I wish we would have a segment about like albums that don't get that level of esteem that we feel should get that level of esteem. You know what I mean?
Hold on.
To me, Black on Both Sides is right there.
Only because I want to say, I feel like saying that Black on Both Sides is a classic then. It's kind of like saying like some of our more favorite Griselda projects are classics now. There's some fire, there's some elite rapping on there, but classic up there with the Illmatics and all of that. Whoa, you know what I mean? I don't know about that.
I see what you're saying. Because that that raucous era was stacked. You had Internal Affairs, which was fire. I would not put it up there with Black on Both Sides. You had the Black Star album, which was dope. You had.
I've always thought Reflection Eternal was better, in my personal.
And I've heard that a lot. You know what I mean? Reflection Eternal is a dope ass album too. But to me, Black on Both Sides is like a tier, a slight sliver of a tier above all of those albums.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. So I'm kind of with Sin, but I'm kind of not with Sin. First of all, I think Black on Both Sides is better than Reflection Eternal. It's better than the Black Star album, and I think it clears both of those easily. My question would be, if you're putting it in Illmatic, like, and It Takes a Nation, Paid in Full type of territory, like, I don't know if I believe that, because I guess my bar for artists in that vein is the Low End Theory, and it doesn't hit that bar for me. It doesn't hit the Low End.
Okay.
That's a high bar.
So,
my bar for like the solo albums in that era is DMX is Dark and Hell is Hot. And I don't even think that Black on Both Sides is even in that conversation, personally. And I love most of it. I do.
Well, hold on. I want to ask Sin something. Do you think that Black on Both Sides is better? Do you think Black on Both Sides is better than Illadelph Half-Life and When Things Fall Apart by the Roots?
No, he doesn't.
Water for Chocolate.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yes.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's high.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What were you about to say, Mace?
Nah. I just was going to tap in real quick Y'all making some interesting points about black on both sides. And you know what I think? Because obviously, like we said, the quality is there. You know what I mean? The ability is there, right? But you know how when we talk about these classic albums and we have like the impact classics, that quality might not be there, right? I think people might mention Carter 3 in that lane, or maybe Get Rich or Die Trying, where they feel maybe it's not a flawless album, but for the impact and influence alone, you deem it a classic. And that's the large part where Black on Both Sides is missing, right? Reflection Eternal, to me, is a more impactful album. I feel like The Blast at this point gets more run than any song off of Black on Both Sides. You throw The Blast on,
No,
niggas
no, no.
is like, this one of the greatest
Probably.
ever.
I give Umi
Umi said.
credit, but we're talking about
Yeah,
rap.
Umi
The
said.
Omi. But
Right.
we're talking
We
rap.
talking about
We
rap.
talking
We
about
talking about
rap.
rap.
Since most want to
You know
call
what I
people pop and everything, we talking about rap.
mean? You feel me?
Don't nah,
So I
don't do that.
what's
Now we
up?
doing it.
Nah,
You trying to look
right,
Bill on
right.
Monday?
Shit.
We
No,
doing it.
because Umi is not a pop record. People
It's
talk about
No,
not.
Umi
it's
like
not a
it's
No.
pop
like
record, but it's not a
no,
rap
it's not.
record.
One day I put
It,
on
Hold on.
MTV
No,
and
but
I
this is
seen a
the thing.
Michael Jordan commercial with Eddie
Hold on,
Jones
Mike.
and them niggas playing ball. I don't know.
Hold on.
That's not
Hold on.
pop.
Hold on. You gotta pause for a second. What's the difference between Umi Says and Spody Odie Dopalicious or Liberation off of Quemini though?
No,
Because
Well,
not
there
much.
aren't any.
Not much. Spody Odie is also a type. I mean, that's an example of spoken word done correctly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Spody Odie
right.
is also an all time classic song.
That's
What if
what
the
I mean. It's
difference
like
is?
it's on a hip hop album, so you associate it with hip hop because it's on a hip hop album.
But
Correct.
what I was saying, what if the difference is one group is not pretending that they're not commercial, while as another artist is conscious but wants to be commercial?
Mm.
I'm not that.
Let me get to these super chats real quick. Leroy Green says, Coop, last week you talked about other goats like Rakim, Ghostface, Common, Face, etc. So what goats do you know that doesn't have songs and verses that people don't like? Jay-Z got thousands of verses out. So come on.
The It's different with Jay because of the notoriety that comes with him and because of the attention that comes with him, and that's a self-inflicted wound. So it's not the same thing. He's of all the great MCs, he's the one that's wanted the attention in the spotlight on him the most, and that's exactly what he gets when he steps to the mic. And so you have to be mindful about what you ask for because you just may get it. Even it might be year number 54, 55 of your life. You're the one that wanted the attention. You got it. So it is what it is. Scarface isn't looking for attention the way Jay is. Ghost isn't looking for attention. Definitely not Rakim. I mean, you lucky to get a word out of Rakim these days.
Humble Bragger with the super chat says, we love Jay for the hustler talk. So 444 kind of fell short. But 444 was a great installment in his discography. He touched on subjects without his ego. Yeah. It's definitely
We
a
love
balanced piece
Jay-Z
of
though.
work.
That's
But,
what I'm talking about. What is a Jay-Z album without Jay-Z's ego?
you
Mike,
know,
you and
it's
me talk
funny you
about
say that.
imaginary
It's,
players all the time. We talk about imaginary players all the time, Mike. When I
yeah.
see him in the street, I don't see none of that. It's like, damn, Playboy, where the fuck's the Hummer at?
This might be an unpopular opinion. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I like Jay's approach on the Everything Is Love album. He sounded confident and cocky again. Now, I don't love the album. Now, don't get it twisted. But his
Mike, you're
appearances on the album with him and Beyonce, he sounded more like Jay-Z than he did on 444. I'm just saying.
Mike D,
that's
I'm
not
not gonna
saying
lie to you,
Here's
bro.
it.
That album didn't get any run after that weekend. So
It
maybe, I
didn't.
don't know.
It didn't. I ain't heard it since either. But I remember thinking that when I
Well,
heard it, because all I heard was 444 up to that point. I was like, okay, he's
this,
not totally gone.
Here,
this is why we needed
here's the
the
thing.
palate cleanse that
Jay.
was. Yes, sir.
Nah, I was gonna say Jay is very short on sentiment. So when he tries to, come across as sentimental and evoke some type of emotion, it falls flat because it's not in it, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's the type of person that he is. Different people are different, but like, you know what
All
I mean?
right,
Like when I feel like he tries to force himself sometimes, and it's just not there.
I got something for that. Now, let's have that real conversation as a family here on this stream.
Let's do it.
The reason why he's doing this shit is because of people like us, more specifically, people like Coop and Mike D and the chat who are challenging him because they believe that he can't do it. With Jay, because Jay is always to me, he's not quote sentimental, but there's always been a message in his music. He's always talking. Like Coop and I, when we first met, we talked about that. When Jay is talking to you, there's tons of messages. But I feel like he feels that because he's not quote conscious, like his number one contemporary, he has his point to prove, and he tries to overtly do it. And then we get shit like 444. To me, a written testimony is fine. I think he delivered. But then we get this spoken word shit. We get the God did verses where he's trying too hard to prove a point to his detractors that he can do things that in fact we don't want from him. It's not organic. You a billionaire. Talk your shit. That's what we signed up for. When we go to a Nas album, if Nas woke up one day and decided to start popping shit about Master Pillar and talking about bread all the time, niggas would not want that from Esco. We didn't sign up for that.
With that being said, y'all. With that being said, do you think that what we like Jay for the most? Do you think that his style just doesn't age as well as his contemporaries? Is that a possibility, or
not at all? I don't think it doesn't age. I think that, like I think I said this a few months back, Jay-Z's rabid ears and his hyper competitiveness is kicking his ass. Stop listening to these niggas. Just be yourself. Instead of listening to all the critiques with these rabid ears, because Benny the Butcher's like that. I know it's a sharp left, but I don't like rappers when they get too sensitive about the criticisms that are levied against them. Just do what you're good at, bro. Like if you're a hooper and you a mid-range shooter, don't try to show niggas you can make threes for a whole game. Good, get to your elbow, get to your mid post, and play your game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can I ask right quick? Because Jay's talk has always been money talk, and I had a conversation with Mike on a couple of episodes ago about how his wealth has become so vast. You know, the shit he used to talk about was attainable. Like, you may not have been able to get Jay's platinum chain, but you could go get you some platinum and stack your bread up. You could go get you a Lexus bread up.
That's a fact.
His money talk is so different now. Do you think that affects the relatability? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you could get you a 4.6.
Because high school me remembers people
stack the extra 30 to 40,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You was trying to cop the iceberg gear before there was rocking with niggas was trying to cop iceberg. When Ho was rocking Evisu jeans, we was trying to get the Evisu jeans. Like it was attainable things. To your point, Coop. Like now, like none of us we hardly thousandaires. We can't get in this shit. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie though, y'all. That's attributed to all the rap. Like I'm gonna say most rappers are talking about shit that we can't get these days. Like just like y'all said, I remember hearing niggas rap about Guess jeans and you know what I mean, mid-price Lexuses and shit. You know what I mean? Like now, Lil Baby got Maybachs. You feel me? Like I feel like that's the entire rap game. Even little kids want to rock designer because they see Lil Durk rapping about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's all of rap is unattainable these days.
Inflation rap.
Inflation rap. I love it.
Real quick before Sam jump in, but this is what I mean about the relatability. I can remember my freshman year at college, the Rockaware suit that Jay's rocking on Volume 3. I had the same suit. I went and spent my money to go buy that. It made me feel like a boss. It's like I can do some shit Jay can do. My man was getting the iceberg sweaters from a plug up in New York, so we're stepping out. I'm stepping out in Jay's outfit, and the rock and my man stepping out in the iceberg sweater, and it's like, no, we was relating. It's like I told Mike, can't nobody in here afford to buy no fucking Warhol.
And you got to have appreciation for it too. On top of that,
that's a fact.
Leroy Green with the super chat.
Back to Griselda, we relate to Griselda more so than Jay-Z right now.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, "I didn't like the Jay verse. Just so we're clear, damn, Leroy Green didn't even like it. Jesus Christ,
that's crazy."
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard Leroy Green say that.
He admitted that.
Took too long to admit it.
I don't think I heard a peep from Leroy over on our channel. He
didn't show up.
To come over here and that's you though, Leroy.
That's big of you to say.
In this chat, he got jumped out of the court in the hip hop chat, so he ain't pull up the hours after.
Patricio with the super chat says, "Sin, you're bugging, bro. Habitat is great."
Oh, I'm not saying it's not great. I'm just saying I prefaced it by saying It's a very, very minor gripe. If I were to make any change, I might pull Habitat, but still in all, it's a great song. It fits the themes. Classic album.
Mad Max with the super chat says, "Black on Both Sides is better than Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. If people can call those classics, then Black on Both Sides is classic." That I disagree with. You know,
Well, there wasn't
How about
Black on Both Sides didn't have the impact
Max
of
trying to
either
go
of
there.
those albums. You know what I mean? Good Kid, Mad City had the impact on the larger space, the larger
The white people.
audience of hip hop. No. Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a Butterfly had a whole other impact in a whole different space.
You're
Both
right.
still classics, but you know what I mean. Black on Both Sides didn't have that type of impact on
I want to
anyone.
say this, Sin, not to interrupt you.
Just as brilliant.
I love To Pimp a Butterfly, and to this day, I think it's Kendrick's best album, in my personal opinion.
not?
I was the only person that felt that way when it dropped, but To Pimp a Butterfly didn't have that impact when it came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn did, but people heard To Pimp a Butterfly and kind of was on some, what is this type of shit.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, To Pimp a Butterfly had a different impact in a different space
Gotcha.
that we didn't end up really hearing about till later on.
He
CJ the
transcended
Kid.
the hotel on To Pimp a Butterfly.
What's that, Coop? My bad.
I said he transcended to the hoteps on To Pimp a Butterfly. That's what happened.
Mhm.
It doesn't
You know,
Hotep
totally.
Kendrick.
I feel like he left the black hippie gang on To Pimp a Butterfly. That's what I got out of it when I heard it. I was like, oh yeah, he's not coming back.
I mean, but he kind of
And
did on Damn.
Yeah,
the song structure, the songs came back, but he didn't come back.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, "Got here late again, guys. Rap Roundtable, welcome. Wish for great mental and physical to all of you guys. Black on Both Sides to me is better than Black Star and Reflection Eternal. To me, guys, bless you, OG." 36 Chambers with the super chat says, "Leroy's more Jay-Z's verses don't hit than one that actually do out of the whole catalog, in my opinion, which seems to be the sentiment among enough people that this is a common topic for hip hop fans about Jay." Mad Max with the super chat says, "Jay's original style ages amazingly. This is hip hop." So we're black. We talk about braggadocious ish. That's what we always did. Jordan ran his mouth, pause, all etc. Only D1 types act like they don't like it. You get your best quotes. Michael Williams with the super chat says, "The last time Jay was talking about normal Jay stuff was on Magna Carta Holy Grail, and that might be his worst album. I much prefer Conscious Jay to that."
Jarve.
Yo, why do people hate Magna Carta so bad? I don't understand. What is wrong with the album?
I think it's probably his worst. It's second worst. Where you got
Worst?
Magna Carta at?
No. 444 is worse, but not by a lot.
Yeah,
You know,
Magna Carta got fuck with me. You know,
Y'all
I got
going
it.
in.
I
Y'all
remember when the
saying
album
Magna
dropped,
Carta is
people were
not better?
complaining. Yeah, man.
Nah, go ahead, Joe. My fault.
I was just saying, people were
Mace,
complaining
go.
about his ad libs on Magna Carta. He was saying too much. I remember that was the thing on Twitter for a second. But I thought the songs were good. I thought the technical rapping was good. Like I don't like when they pan it. It's like, why are we talking about it like it's Kingdom Come or fucking 444? Like
Right.
I think
those albums are bad.
Comes better.
Shit,
Hold
I
on.
can't.
Nah,
I'll never
Kingdom
go back
Come's
to that
not better
album.
than Magna Carta, man. No way.
Come
I'm
on, bro.
starved. Kingdom Come and 444 are worse than Magna Carta. Yeah.
Easily.
I want a Picasso.
Bro.
Picasso. I'm a Hassa.
Yeah,
I've
but see, the
seen
thing is,
people
the
try.
singles weren't good, but they got some fire album. Oceans is
Right.
fire. Don't tell me I don't
Oceans
rock
is
with
fire.
Oceans. La Familia on there is fire. The original joint Beyonce that all the girls play on their Instagrams when they with their man was on that album. You know what I mean? They
On
had
the
some
run.
joints.
Right. On the
Didi Voice.
run.
There was some joints on Magna Carta.
Fuck with me, you know I got it's on there.
Come
Right.
on, Mike
Yeah,
D.
that's
Right.
That's fine.
BBC is on.
Y'all
I've
fronting.
seen a lot of people try to rewrite history about Kingdom Come though. They really
Kingdom
be trying
Come
to
is
rewrite
hot
history about
ass.
that. Like, like
Kingdom
if you
Come
go
is
back
garbage.
to that right now, it was going over your heads. I'm like, get the
No, it wasn't.
outta here,
It was
bro.
beneath us. It was
Okay,
in real
the
time.
song "Kingdom Come" is great.
Fire.
Lost Ones is
It's
Yeah.
a dope
cool.
record.
One of Just
Terrible.
Blaze's most
Yep.
lackluster beats, honestly.
Really?
Show me
And
what
I
the
remember,
beat. Show
and
me
I
what you got
remember.
was more better than the song. And did he use a sample
Hold up.
better than Just Blaze did? We'll keep it 100.
Nah,
Okay.
Diddy normally does.
I remember. I think seeing him on Twitter, like or somewhere, and he was like, "Yo, I figured out how to flip this Rick James sample." And then it was that beat, and I was like, "All right, it's cool," but like, it wasn't for you to get all that excited about it.
And I think
I thought it was
He got way
incredible.
better beats than that.
The
Mike
original
D, you know
sample
what
He
I
he
got
think
flipped
got
way
over, I
you?
better
love my
beats than
business is
that,
better.
man.
And you know what I think got
My-
you, Mike D, is that Jay was closer to his prime as an actual rapper on Kingdom Come. You know what I mean? So you might just like
Yeah.
how he sounds more on there. You
I
know?
truly
But the
feel
music
like
to me
that
is better on
song.
Magna Carta.
I truly feel like the song "Kingdom Come" is what got him out of retirement. He probably made that record and was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a go because he's rapping
I
on
still
there.
got it.
Yeah. Just when they thought it was all over, I put the whole world on my back and broad shoulders. The boy Hova, who you know, talk all over tracks like that. Guess what? New York, New York. I like
He didn't have 14 of those. That's the problem. It
it.
was
He
just that
did.
Right.
He
one.
didn't have 5 of those.
Rigamatic with
5
the
of those.
super chat. He says, LOL at Leroy getting jumped out of the chat. Michael
Hey
Brown
man.
with the super chat says, I'm curious at Jarv, what songs are skips on Capital Punishment? The closers, Fast Money, and Parental Discretion are hard. And the girl
No, they're
slash
not.
radio songs aren't forced. Flawless 5 mic album, in my opinion.
I hear
Those are
you.
I
live.
know he talking to Jav here, but I didn't get
I hear
my
you.
take on Capital Punishment.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I feel like Jarvis 100% right. Since at the same thing. It's a bloated album, and I think we got to speak to the fact. And this is just like Jarvis said, a very time specific thing. But to come back as a grown ass man and hear like these '90s like graphic sex skits, bro, it throws you off, bro. Like Ready to Die when they start sucking his dick in the studio. I'm like, what the fuck is this? My kids are in the next room, bro. So it's like I feel like that's another part of that shit as well.
I'm with you on that.
Nah,
Hold on.
it was
Hold
a lot of skits, but packing a Mac in the back of the act is fucking classic. I don't care what nobody says.
That's hilarious. No, the Pack and the Mac is hilarious. But I actually wrote down the 5 songs on Capital Punishment that I think don't fit the bill. And that's Punish Me with Miss Jones, Caribbean
like
Connection with Wyclef,
Anything with White Clever
Boomerang,
is a
Fast
dub.
Expression.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest with
that's
y'all.
5
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The
records.
single that went crazy, still not a player. I hated that song from day one.
Yeah, I
Oh, you
like the
stupid
original.
now.
I hated it until this
Now
very
you
day.
wildin'.
Now
now
I
you,
could wild out a little bit. I like the original
you
version
bugging.
Me
of
too.
Still Not a Player.
The
I hated the remix.
original's
I
better.
agree.
Mm.
The original's better.
It
That's
is.
crazy.
I never liked the
Yeah.
Joe version. I'm with y'all on that.
No,
It
I
made me
understand.
sick in
Nah, I
real
like the
time.
Joe version.
It was syrupy as fuck.
No,
I hated it.
What?
It
no.
sounded
I
forced for Punch.
understand they go
Wow.
get this money.
Wow.
I understand
Yeah,
they go
sin,
get
they
that
kind of
money. You
wildin'. They wildin'.
But if you heard
What?
the
I've never
version,
heard that in my life from anyone. What?
Mad Max with the super chat says, "Nah, Mace, I'm definitely trying to go there because Dot is whack. He is made.
Oh damn.
Gee.
He is made by hood branding. Dot don't even have a meet the woo, and he never drops some of
God,
the spread like
yo,
wildfire. Something that
Mad
spread
Max
like
made
wildfire and crack in the
God,
90s.
My man
yo,
said Meet the Woo. He like Pop Smoke album better than all Kendrick albums.
Yeah.
bro,
Shouts to
his
Max,
rap
man. He
takes
really from the
are like
town, man.
God.
Godfather with the super chat says, "I love to see your work working together." Let's see. We got
One
Marcus.
love.
Super chat says Jay needs to spend a week back in Marcy. Nas is the goat, but Hove can't go out like this. 100. Do
Marcy
y'all,
is a tourist attraction now. He don't need to go back,
Right.
man.
You know,
do
see
y'all
a
think Jay's
Jersey
gonna drop an album in
ornamentation.
2024?
He kind of has to, but I don't know. You know,
I
Yeah.
don't know.
what rules is Jay Z
hey, real
playing by?
talk.
Is he playing by rap rules? Nah,
I
in
can't.
my opinion.
I don't know. That
Thir-
part of the
He don't
force is
sound in
like
shape to
I
be
can't see
dropping
it.
an album. I'm gonna be honest.
Word.
Yeah, he need to get one of them. You know how they did like the little workout on Creed or whatever when he got, had to get back. What's that? Rocky
Mhm.
3, where Rocky had to
Nah,
get again, and Apollo had to take him back to the hood. That's what Jay.
Facts.
nah, he
Yeah.
need Dame, but that's a different
You
conversation.
know what? We
Oh,
always
shit.
talk about what
No,
producer Jay would need. That would be crazy if Jay and Dame connected back and made some music. That might be what he needs for real.
hey, hey, Jar, real talk. Those are bars. He needs a Dame. He needs somebody that's
Yeah.
gonna be in the studio and not fucking bullshit him about how his shit sounds. Like, nah, fam, cut that, scrap that. We doing another record. That record's
There
not
you
fucking
go.
cutting it. That's who
Mhm.
Dame was for him.
He has no quality control in his camp. That's why when he said he wanted to go longer and they cut the verse, I'm like, somebody, maybe it was Guru. I don't know. Somebody saved because notice Guru was real quiet when his verse dropped. When the goddamn verse
He
dropped,
ain't say
Guru was all over
shit.
the socials. The greatest verse of all
Yo,
time. This
facts.
shit came out. We can't
Right.
find Guru. So I get the feeling that
Right.
That's a
Guru
fact.
saved Jay-Z.
You know another verse that Jay put out that was on a big scale and they talked it all the way up, but people don't really talk about his jail verse on the Donda album. That verse, they were pumping it up like he turned it in that day, boom, 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 and then when we hear, he's like, "I talked to God, it's my on my celly," or whatever he said. It was like, I don't know about the jail verse.
The general public felt like the baby had a better jail verse than Jay
He
Z. To
did,
be honest.
he
He
did,
did.
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
And we're silent about that. 36 Chambers of the Super Chat says, the fact that we can argue over the worst Jay-Z album and justify it among at least 4 different complete projects is all the evidence you need that maybe his music doesn't have the longevity like that. All the albums that we're arguing for actually came in succession pretty much. American Gangster is kind of like the outlier in between those things.
That's the outlier.
Yeah. CJ Kid with
But
the Super.
again, depending on who you talk to, there's 444.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
it's
we
not
don't see it that way.
unanimous. We gotta be truthful. It's
Right.
not
Okay.
unanimous that 444 was
Who
better.
on this show right now fucks with 444? Like, of the 5 of us, who is vouching
Nobody.
for 444?
None.
Okay,
None.
well, you got
Nobody.
0 out of 5.
Nobody.
Nobody.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, on a side note, I feel the D1 was wrong for saying NWA should be stripped of their classic status just because of their message. It says, speaking of skits, a good topic is what are the top 5 skits of all time? I guess it
Little
depends on
little
what
Little
you look
Kim
for
Cream.
in a
intro
skit.
for hardcore is
Shark
is
Bite.
the winner.
Shark Biters.
Shark Riders is pretty tough.
Purple. Yeah, Shark
Shark
Biters.
Biters is
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
Woodrow skit too
Yeah.
on Supreme Clientele. It
The,
seemed
the
really.
joint the joint about
I
Chris Childs on Biggie album is up there.
Is that Chris
Facts.
Styles? I thought it was Anthony Mason. Rest in peace.
You
I
know,
thought it was Mason.
Wu Tang,
Chris Childs.
36 Chambers, just keep feeding you and feeding you.
Yeah,
Pause.
that's a
Yes,
class.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Patricia with the super chat says, "Jar, what up, man? I'm a big fan of y'all. Been watching y'all since 2021. I'm a Nas stan from Chicago, and hearing y'all New York cats trash Jay these past few years gives me joy. Jar, your
Listen, at least he noticed. At least he heard
Nah,
the opinions that we've had about Jay. You know what I mean? Some people just don't. They put, like
cause
Job
you,
says, they put that bandana around their ears and they don't hear
yeah,
shit.
because they were
nah, cause
calling y'all the
you said
Hovengers for a
cause
while.
we
Like,
you
That's
said
crazy.
that
Hold on.
Jay would be Nas in the verses. They ain't moved past that yet. Somebody commented that the other day saying they was mad at you. It was like, "See, you cool now, but you still said Nas would lose to Jay. They ain't
Yeah,
forgive
what
you
is
yet.
it like 2 years later, 3 years later? That's
Push
crazy.
damn
I
near.
That's
gotta
like
say,
3 years later, honestly.
I will.
I'm
I will
Sheesh.
tell y'all this. I can actually remember our first show, Jarv, and you and me had a very heated discussion about who the GOAT was. Remember the first time we met and like we chatted?
Yes,
And we had
yes.
a heated discussion. And I love the fact that it's like over the course of time, mostly because of this Nas and Hit run, you guys have actually been very honest and very authentic about your takes. And it's like I tell people, it's like, well, y'all aren't a J podcast and we're not a Nas podcast because if I'm saying Jay-Z is the greatest, second greatest MC of all time, that means he built millions of other people except for one guy. That doesn't make this a Nas show. And if you guys feel like Jay's number one, that doesn't make y'all a Jay show if you put Nas or two, but that's how like serious the core of the fan base runs with it. Where it's like it's forever going to be an argument. Like some people are just on it and not going to pivot. So I want to like salute y'all for the objectivity and like acknowledging like shit. Jay been dropping, ain't been hot lately, and Nas and Hit been on a run. For Mike, Mike pulled up to this show, and me and Mike used to argue the way you and me argued that one time. Jarvis said, for me and Mike, literally been arguing about it since like 2012.
And I had Jay at number one. And you know, my number one thing, because the rap skills comparable, they all do great things and do different things. Nas is the better lyricist. I think Jay connects. He's more versatile with his style, or at least he was at that point. And the longevity and the consistency I always gave to Jay. I can't do that anymore. So Nas got it.
I mean,
man.
he's made it real difficult to defend. Like again, boom. Let's say now he stopped with the goddamn verse. There's still a lot of people who are not us who really love that verse. But it's like when you take essentially, whether officially or unofficially, hip hop 50, right? You don't acknowledge it at all, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. You dancing with your wife. Nas is putting out 6 albums. It gets very difficult to defend certain shit. And then your first foray back into the space of music making is a spoken word verse that nobody asked for. And we know you have rabbit ears. You know niggas is waiting for you to come outside and rap. And you do this, it speaks to it's either you don't care about that. And then it was the Gayle interview. You did the Gayle interview, and then you ran it back on CBS on a primetime setup where you mashed together your 60 minutes interview with the Gayle interview, and it's like, bro, like who do you not realize what the streets want, or do the streets not matter anymore? Because that's really what it amounts to. But I'm always gonna be a whole fan. That's my guy. That's my number one, right? But at the same time, it's disappointing to realize that he does not care about what the streets want. I am part of the streets. We want a certain thing from you. You're not giving it to us. It becomes frustrating now. That's where I'm at. You got to rap. You got to give us an album. You got to give us an EP or at least a fire feature somewhere. Something got to give. Because if this is what it is and the Nas decide to come outside again this year, how can we keep defending it?
You can't. That right. You know what? People talk about me, quote unquote, bashing Andre. That's where it comes from. I've defended, you know, Dre not having any solo work since the year 2000 or 1999. I can't defend that anymore. It's just what it is. He can't do it. He can't put out any solo rap material. He doesn't have it in him for whatever reason. I got to be honest about that as a fan.
Hey, man.
People don't understand that it's that part right there, because at a certain point I feel like I look crazy. If I keep defending. You know what I'm saying?
I like Leroy Green out here. Even Leroy Green jumped off the wagon.
God damn, man.
Hey Mace, I want to ask you, because you've been like falling back the most in the convo, which is cool. But I want to ask you your take on how do you feel like the hip hop 50th year actually went? Because Mike D and I were disappointed, and maybe it's just because we had high expectations. So tell me how you felt about 2023.
Listen, I'm gonna have to agree with you and Mike D. I think in totality, you can't be anything but disappointed, right? For a few reasons. A lot of our highest profile, you know, rap acts, you know, they had nothing prepared. They didn't do anything. They didn't acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. A lot of the hip hop 50 situation, it just, you know what I mean? It felt like some, you know, half put together mom and pop shit, if you want to be honest. You hear about maybe these guys got a concert this weekend. You know what I mean? A couple niggas threw up posts. Other than Nas himself, and thank you for actually putting together a hip hop 50 almost Coachella like thing that we on the show have spoken about. We hope they continue on from year to year. I think Deanie, shouts to him, is actually the one who really brought that up. Other than Nas, nobody really felt like they even put any time or effort or care into this shit. You know what I mean? Nobody linked with any corporations to brand some hip hop 50 shit. Nobody, you know what I mean, went on like a year long hip hop 50 type of thing. I feel like a lot of our biggest artists, they went on tour this summer. They just tried to cash out really quick because it was hip hop 50 without really acknowledging the importance or the impact that hip hop had. You know what I mean? And listen, we spoke about Jay-Z ignoring it. It's Jay-Z, it's Kanye, it's Eminem, it's Drake. These motherfuckers who have gone diamond and multiple times, Where are these big concerts? You know what I mean? Remember the Jay-Z and Eminem home and home concert, Detroit in Yankee Stadium? They could have did some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Kanye throws concerts in football stadiums, bro. Like, come on now. So I feel like ultimately I
for
feel
unfinished
disappointed.
albums.
For unfinished
Right,
albums.
right.
Did you hear
You
that?
know what I mean? Nobody
Mike,
really
Mike,
got into their resources and did what they were supposed to do.
What's that?
I said, Mike D, did you hear that? Kanye throws concerts for unfinished albums. I've been telling
He
you since
did
he's done.
that. It's true. He did that. James Thomas in the
Fact.
super chat says Jay-Z has no motivation around him. Question mark. I mean,
No,
Stop. No.
Probably
Hold
not.
on.
No.
No,
it's a
we gotta
lot of
stop.
made people over there.
We
Yeah,
gotta stop doing that's the thing about being an artist. You're supposed to be able to draw inspiration from watching a rock fall into a body of water. You feel what I'm saying?
that's
That's
a
like
Well,
part
fact.
of the
hold on, Coop. You also need music.
shit.
Kanye's best
You need
Kanye came with Amber. That was his
Mm,
muse.
mm.
yeah.
Mm.
You Beyonce done mused him out. He need a new muse. He need another Blondie with the good hair to Becky. He gotta find another one.
Jar with another lemonade, man.
You know, I've
I
never
mean
been a
Nice.
fan of the music that they make together. Honestly,
Oh,
I always
it's
feel
not
like he's adjusting to her more than vice versa too.
keep it outside
I
of
you
their
know
feel
what?
like
personal
early
collabs.
music.
I mean, I don't know.
Yes,
Crazy in
yes.
Love is an all timer. Like
I'm
The
about to say
early ones,
Upgrade
Upgrade
You
You.
upgrade
was
you, crazy in love, drunk in love, them
upgrade.
type of records. Yeah,
yeah.
You know
I feel
that
like
Hollywood song that they did together on Kingdom Come, that might be
no,
Jay-Z's
keep
worst
it,
song.
keep it.
Oh
Keep,
man,
no.
It might be.
why,
Mike
why did
D,
you?
Mike D. It's
I know.
ghetto techno exists, okay? Ghetto
Yeah, no.
techno
Ghetto
actually
Techno.
exists. All right.
It didn't make an album, but
The
Ghetto
Beach
Techno.
Chair.
The best thing that happened to Kingdom Come was the fact that he didn't put
Beach
ignorant shit
Chair.
on there. He waited until American Gangster to put it on there because that would have been a
Mm,
waste.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It should have been on the
That's a
Black
fact.
that's a
Album, but that's a
fact.
different argument.
Facts.
CJ Kid with the super chat says it just
That's
hit
a
me.
fact.
Isn't rap roundtable for people? Yeah,
Houdini got to work.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
man.
we try to do what we can do
Co-
next time.
We call him the ghost. You heard? Ghost Danny.
Ghost Dini.
Shout out.
Nice.
Mr. J. Davis with the super chat says To Pimp a Butterfly dropped with some of the highest reviews of all time during its first week. For many outlets, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn did not. To Pimp a Butterfly had everyone talking. Good Kid, Mad City needed some time to grow. Good Kid, Mad City is the best still, in my opinion. I don't
Yeah.
remember it like that. I remember
No.
Good Kid, Mad City hitting right away, and To Pimp a Butterfly needing time to grow.
No. See, this is what I mean. Like, Good Kid, Mad City is something that captivated hip hop culture and the rap nation, so it spread like wildfire through us. To Pimp a Butterfly is about mass appeal. That's
Yeah.
critical acclaim. The Hoteps and the white people. It is.
I just think To Pimp a Butterfly had one of the weaker
Here's the
first
thing. I think
singles and second singles. It didn't really jump off to all right, really.
What'd you say,
right.
Sin?
I think Good Kid, Mad City was also much closer to the heart of the blog era. So I think that played a big part in how the hip hop audience perceived it, because at the time the hip hop audience was the blog era. The same way that for us it was, for us in the '90s it was the streets and the street mixtapes. So, and then with Pepper Butterfly, I think Mac D does have a point. The first single, I remember not really liking the first single when it first dropped.
What's
And
that?
then he ended up
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
was the
I
first
didn't like
single,
Yeah, I
I.
did
and then
not
he
like
ended
that
and then
shit.
he ended up changing it to the live version,
Yep.
much like Common
Yep.
did with the Food, because the studio version just wasn't him like that.
King Kunta wasn't
And
hitting
so
either.
King Kunta was also, yeah. It flows well in the the arc of the album, but yeah, no, All Right was really what really put that song over, or that album over.
Well, I know you guys got to leave in a second. Before y'all go, let's talk about this Mos Def. Yasin, you better
Ah,
excuse me. Calling Drake pop. Now, a lot of people who are watching me and Coop's take on it, where we were saying that Mos Def was wrong for his take. a lot of people felt like Mos Def was right. Where do you guys stand on that? I mean, I can start with Sin, and we can go around the round table.
I think it was right. I didn't think he said anything that was wrong or unfactual in his take. Some people may call it dismissive, base. But uh, it just is what it is. Like I don't see how you could look at an artist like Drake, who he himself says that his only competition is Taylor Swift, and then when somebody says, "Oh, Drake is pop," Drake fans get mad, and Drake gets mad, and he has to, he has a response to it on IG, obviously, because that's all he does. But I don't see where Most Def was wrong in the statement. Maybe in the tone, maybe in the dismissiveness, or like he was poking fun at it. He was, being condescending about it. I think that's where people get upset about is the condescension of it. But the actual statement, I don't see nothing wrong with it. He didn't say, and to be clear, he didn't say that Drake was not hip hop. He just said he feels he's more pop.
Do you feel
Nothing wrong
Eminem's
with it.
more pop than hip hop?
Yes, I definitely today,
Mm.
absolutely. Anything past like 2004, yes,
Mm.
100%. All those singles with Skylar Grey, like, come on.
Yeah.
Who are his producers? Like, it's all pop production. Like, come on.
Dre
What
does
say you,
produce a
Joe?
lot of that.
Oh, what
Dre
was that?
produces a lot of that still.
You said Dre?
What was that?
Dre does still produce a lot of M stuff. Yeah.
Dr. Dre's producing for Eminem is different than Dr. Dre's producing for everybody else. Because I don't
Yes,
I
I
don't
That's
see
agree.
Dre doing no want 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 for Snoop Dogg. It's not happening.
In fact, when it comes to Eminem, before Mos Def said that Drake, makes music where you can shop with an edge. I initially coined Eminem's music as mall music. So yeah, he's pop. But to Mos Def's point, the more I think about it, because again, we got real heated when we did our live on Monday about this shit because I do believe and I still stand on it that I find that the backpacking wing of hip hop where you find the most pretentious people and opinions about the rest of rap. They're very arrogant in their
I agree.
perception of hip hop, and they tend to want to project said arrogance on the rest of the culture when they only represent a small piece on that Venn diagram. But at the same time, when it comes to Aubrey, he's not, and it's his own doing. It's partially our fault because we didn't embrace him. A lot of times when Kendrick came out, we put it, you know what I mean? Cole came out, we put him under the other wing. When Big Sean came outside, we was a little shaky on him. Some of us embraced him, but he did also get slapped by Mano. So Big Sean's kind of in the Drake wing because at the same time it's like there's a level of machismo in hip hop around the time when those artists came out, and you either had it or you didn't have it. Drake didn't have it. Drake was a high school soap opera actor with a 5 o'clock shadow and a real dreary face. He didn't have the braids and the beard and the swag that he has now. He was a cornball who was super gifted, but he wasn't embraced. So then once he realized he wasn't embraced, and I got this nice little formula here where I could pop out and make pop records, I'm gonna stay over there because y'all didn't like the bars anyway. Y'all didn't like my little singing. Y'all let Mos Def sing, but why I can't sing? Oh, because I'm not hip hop enough. Bet. And I think that's where the divide is. I think Drake came in like he wanted to be the next Hove. I ain't forget. And at a certain point, he
Yeah.
realized I'm never going to be embraced by these people, so I'm gonna move on. So when
Right.
Mos makes a comment, he's not wrong, but I feel like as an OG as he is, he should have tucked in his pretentious backpack energy and just not answered the question. He didn't have to answer it. He chose to answer
That's
it, and he knew what he was going to
yeah.
do when he answered it. And that's where I'm at
Yeah.
with it right
He
now.
was stewing when he answered it. You could
Hold on,
tell, like
Right.
hold on, Mike, Mike,
the hate
hold
just
on, real
had to
quick,
come
Right.
out, man.
Mike. I
Yeah,
told you
but
he
this is
was
what I'm
playing.
saying. He's been this for 25 years. Like, y'all don't know
Yeah,
most by now? Like, come
Right.
that's
on.
what I mean. So I was telling Mike that he knew exactly what he was doing. I was like, no one is more classically trained in this space than most to respond to a question like that verbatim.
Mm.
Like
As
he
the
knew exactly. Like, go ahead.
Exactly.
You
And
know, as the
saying we
resident
dismissing the
OVO guy, I
backpackers.
feel like I have to.
We not dismissing backpackers. We saying that backpackers are the most annoying niggas in hip hop. That's what we
Right,
saying. Go
right.
do a little questionnaire on the street and ask hip hop heads what they think about backpackers. Them niggas is mad annoying. They hard to impress and they arrogant as fuck. Everybody says the same things. Go ahead, Mace. I'm sorry.
Nah. You know, as in the chat they was asking. You know, they know I'm the resident OVO guy at the Rap Roundtable. You know what I mean? OVO team, we up. The thing is, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? I think you can be hip hop and so popular that you become pop. Mike D mentioned Eminem. I feel like Kanye fits in that bag as well. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, there was clear kind of distaste for Drake in Moses' speech, and you know what I mean. He was taking shots at him in an intellectual way. You know what I mean? And that was the pause. But listen, as bad as it is for most Def, the culture has decided Drake is hip hop. You know what I mean? It's not a debate anymore. You know what I mean? This is 2012 arguments. You know what I mean? Is the Degrassi guy hip hop, bro? The last 15 niggas that came in the game had a Drake verse on the way in. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I think most remembers a time where people of his ilk could gatekeep and say what's not hip hop, but that's a time long gone. You know what I mean? Most can't decide that anymore.
You remember the
You know what I'm
times
saying?
when whatever KRS One said, it was damn near law. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, this isn't hip hop, that is hip hop. Well, KRS
No,
One
no,
said,
no, no, no.
yeah.
I gotta push back on what Mace is saying. I don't think most and Kweli and Common and the Roots, they've always been opinionated, but I don't think they ever thought of themselves as gatekeepers for the entire culture. Maybe they gate kept their own space, you know what I mean? And they wanted to keep their own space more so like what, in lineage with what, the Public Enemies did and the Boogie Down Productions did and all of that. They wanted to keep their own space that way. But I don't think they were ever under any delusion that they were gatekeeping the bigger space, because that was the whole fight. That was the whole counterculture thing versus what was on the radio and the shiny suits and the fucking no limit Master P shit. That was the whole purpose of the movement of the raucous era and the underground era in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, Coop
Set it
likes
right
to
here.
remind us that Most Def was in the Change Clothes video, which was a
There you
fashion.
go. And I want to make this clear. Like Sid is saying that Sid's saying what he's saying, but from a certain point of view, them dudes was only on it like that because they wasn't accepted by the cool niggas. So they had to find their little space because they was looked at as dweebs by the macho rap niggas. Like, let's not
But
leave
see,
that part of the conversation
but
out.
all right, but this is where my tweet from yesterday came in, or was it earlier this morning? I don't know. I can't keep track of time anymore. But like, I feel like there's a certain segment, or there's a certain cutoff age where people don't remember the Native Tongues movement and don't remember De La Soul, Me, Myself, and I, when they were literally, the whole video was literally that. The cool motherfuckers with the rope chains and the sweatsuits, and then they was on some hippie shit with the African medallions. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
And
but the
so
Wu
when
the
you,
niggas that was listening to Wu was looking at the native tongue niggas like they was weirdos.
I don't know if that
Okay.
was really the case, bro.
Hold on.
Like
I think
I was there. Like it was all inclusive. It was
I'm
really
about to
all
say.
inclusive.
I think
Alright.
I think one of the things that about hip hop is that although everybody kind of used to have their thing, and I'm kind of more on the sin side with it. It's like no, like, and I can't speak for being up top because I wasn't, but it was cool if you loved the Tribe Called Wu-Tang Clan the same down here, and fucked with Public Enemy and fucked with NWA at the same time. I think we've gotten too critical of each other. Actually, like it's too critical in the space now. You know what I mean? And which is funny because we're all critics to a degree, and people come to us for critiques. But like, I can remember a time where it was okay to buy like, a Project Pat Mister Don't Play, and then go buy OC. You know what I'm saying? Like, Midnight Marauders and Into the Wu Tang and Doggy Style all came out virtually at the same time. All of those albums, it was
Yep.
cool to love those albums.
You're right, but
Bro,
I
the
remember
Bomb
being
Squad
from
did Public
Brownsboro.
Enemy
I
and
was
Ice
on
cute.
Chester Street in the Ville. We was not playing native tongues, but you was hearing Woo. You was hearing MOP. You wasn't hearing that backpack
But
shit in the hood, bro.
but listen, you like what are you like 6-7 years younger than me? So that
Yeah.
6-7 years makes a difference.
Fair play.
It does.
Let-
It really does.
Well, let me ask
I'm
y'all
saying,
this.
my OGs that was your age wasn't playing that shit. They was playing the hard shit.
Let me ask y'all this
Okay.
though. Like,
Hold on,
what
hold
was
on,
Black
hold on,
Star's
Jar,
album?
Jar, hold on, Jar. Niggas wasn't playing Bonita Applebum and Check the Rhyme and
No,
Award Tour and
the block I grew up on was not
that's
playing
why.
that, bro.
Why?
Word to mother. We was
Well, let me.
not playing that.
I guess I'm already
We
gonna
played
know
Nas
the
Effect.
answer to this. But
We
what
played
was
Nas
Black
Effect.
Star's
We
buzz
was
like
playing
in New
Lords
York?
of the Underground. We was playing Wu Tang, Black Star.
What was Black Star's
That was
buzz like in New York in '98?
it. Was difficult.
Um,
Very difficult.
I can't even really tell you because that was upstate.
Okay.
Not upstate. I
Oh,
was in
man.
college upstate. So
Right.
98. You had to get past DMX, Hove, the remnants of the shiny suit era before you got to like. If you was listening to Black Stars because you was already attracted to that shit, you wasn't seeking it out like that. You know what I mean?
That's why it's
I got a
difficult to
question.
call that album a
I got a
classic.
I
Hold
discovered
on.
Black
Hold on.
Star through the
I got a
blogs,
question.
super early blogs. Early blogs.
I got a
like
question right
98
quick.
blogs.
I got a question for Sin and Jarv right quick. Where's Gangstar in all this? Because I always looked at Gangstar as like the middle ground between like a tribe and Wu-Tang.
They
Legends.
shoguns. They not even.
Legendary.
They don't even get. You know what I mean? They above it all.
And they don't and like I think that to a certain extent they don't get mentioned the way that they should. But yeah, absolute legendary. Like nothing short of it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
that anything we
I
spoke
mean-
about this in regards to people freestyling and speaking about instrumentals, but it just seems like if your peak was pre 94, you get underrated no matter who you are. You know what I mean?
That's real. Shout out to Heavy D, man. Rest in peace. And then he's another one that I feel like y'all were saying, it was cool to like everybody. Like there was nobody like, I ain't listening to that Heavy D. But it was a time and place for it. And it was a balance. And would most say that Heavy D is more pop than hip hop, or R&B than hip hop. And I know Heavy D didn't sing, but his records were very radio friendly. He's the only rapper at the time that made a record with Michael and Janet Jackson. You know what I mean? He was deemed sonically safe. Our parents like Heavy D too. That doesn't make him less hip hop than anybody else, though. That don't make him less hip hop than, you know what I'm saying, what Wu-Tang was doing.
I think he's more hip hop than a lot of quote unquote guys.
They absolutely are. I'm just trying to give y'all the experience as to like what I viewed the divide was on my come up.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you're right though.
Again,
The backpack guys are very pretentious, and they're the ones that. It's funny.
Honestly.
They're the ones that actually create these borders. You know what I'm saying? Where you would think it's the hardcore guys that do it, but they don't. It's the backpackers that do it. That's why they were so offended when Kanye said he played the backpackers. He really wasn't Blackpack. He was just, he was just out here masquerading as one to get on.
I'll put it
That
to you
really
like this: the
I
first
got
state
and it worked
because pops in the game
Kanye
was Lords
still
of the
gets
Underground. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was listening to.
Kanye still gets he still gets a lot of credit from certain backpackers. I'll claim it. He still gets a lot of credit because he aligned himself with the Qualities and Most Defs and Commons. You know what I mean?
He was the bridge.
Even if yeah.
And in my personal opinion, I think he's the reason why the Roots are the backup band for the Jimmy Fallon show. But we could go.
Hey.
I mean, he made the Roots mainstream.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Dave Chappelle got to get his flowers too. He played a role in that.
I think they rose to prominence together.
Part of that circle, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kanye and Dave rode each other to the top for real.
Hey,
So I know you
Pause.
gotta go soon, but I have a couple more questions for y'all. Like first of all,
I know it's not our show, but come on, you gotta relax.
Look, I just got a
Super pause moment.
I just want to know, what are y'all thoughts on 21 Savage's new album, and what are your expectations for the Conway and for the Benny album?
Go ahead, Mace.
Mace.
We all were fans of the 21 album. I'm not even gonna lie. Sorry, y'all. Family just popped in on me. But the 21 album, still running it right now. We think it's dope. Or let me not speak for everybody. I still think it's dope. You know, maybe not peak, you know,
I
Savage
agree.
Mode 2, Her Lost type vibes, but definitely a step in the right direction. A lot more versatility than we're used to, subject and sonic wise from 21. You know what I mean? So
Hold on.
we
Hold on.
we
No, no,
fucking
no.
with it, man. We fucking with it.
Hold on. Hold on, Mace. I'm gonna have to push back on you. What about
What's
him
the vibe?
content wise? What's I mean, and this is Atlanta speaking. He's from the east side like I am. Like his flow has literally been the same for the last 8 years. And the
I
content and the
listen.
subject matter not itself at all outside of getting some Drake vibes from like 3 or 4 girl records.
We, Project Pat then had the same flow for 25 years. If it works, it works. You know what I'm
Hey, we're gonna
saying?
leave Pat
Listen,
out of
He is not Project
it.
listen, man.
He is
And
not
really,
Project Pat.
maybe not, let me not say content wise specifically, but kind of what you mentioned about Big Pun, right? I left the album feeling like I know 21 more than any album I feel like I've listened to from him. You know what I mean? So even if we're not talking about, no, maybe he not, you know, he ain't make no Brenda Got a Baby type shit, but you know what I'm saying? He did, you know, let us into his life, let us into the train of thought and where he is mentally right now, more than I feel like he usually does. And hey, maybe you know, being around, you know, the most emotional rapper going on tour with him, maybe that rubbed off on him. You know what I mean? Maybe he's in his feelings a little bit.
I want to hear what
Um.
Jarvin Sin has
Yeah,
to say.
without sounding like a sucker.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Um,
here's what I'll say. I think that this album is not Savage Mode 2 level at all. You know, I was
Nah,
hoping
or
for
one.
him to elevate. Yeah. I felt like we've watched him ascend. Like I know you said his flow is the same, but I think I'll never call 21 Savage a lyricist. Let's be clear, because the chat be mishearing shit and they go and run with their own narratives. But lyrically, as a rapper, he has improved tremendously. And I think he showed that on this project. But I will say on the flip side of it is that 21 Savage will never be a rapper who can carry a project with his bars. He needs to be carried by the production. I think the bodacious productions of the Savage modes and even of her losses that are real like big blockbuster releases carry 21. But the fact that he wanted to shine through as an artist, he scaled back the Sonics. I think that took away from it. Do I enjoy the project? Absolutely. I think it's a good project. But what I think this is, I think you know how like Kanye was on a straight ascent. That he hit you with the 808s, and then he put everything he learned from 808s in his previous other albums into A Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think this is the layover before we get the next evolution of 21, where his next project, if he decides to give us a Savage Mode 3, it'll be something we've never heard from this guy. It'll be bodacious, it'll be big, it'll be introspective, and it'll be gangster. I think, in fact, I missed the gangster 21. He still shot a few people in his bars, but when you give people a certain product, if I go to I always giving you the food reference. Shout out to Dini again. If I go to McDonald's and I want the double quarter pounder with cheese and some fries, do not give me the spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's. And that's what I got with this project.
Sin?
Interesting. This is an example of me as a listener meeting the artists where they're at. Because as my bros know, I've never once in my life been a 21 Savage fan. You know, bar wise, you know, on the weakest side. You know what I mean? I've never been too tough into his flow. But when I started listening to this album, obviously the production caught my ear. Strong production, strong sonics, you know, big mixes. So that obviously caught my ear. But then, you know, the first leg of the album, I thought production wise was so impressive to me that it brought me into him as an artist and him as a rapper a little bit more. I won't say lyricist because he's not, you know, obviously like Jarv just said, um, we would never consider 21 Savage a lyricist, but I'm meeting him where he's at and seeing what his skill set is. I think this is, to me, the strongest example of what he can do with his skill set in terms of production, in terms of the full body, the production, the sonics, but also the content, It wasn't super gangster the entire time. So like he brought us more so into his thoughts and his life, and I appreciated that. Yeah, there were a couple records like in the second half of the album that were a little bit more on the Drakish side. I didn't think they were bad records. It didn't fully take away from the project for me. But I, as somebody who's not a 21 Savage fan, I really enjoyed this project. And you could take that as, as you wish. Like maybe, you ever hear somebody say, I don't like rap, but I like, Will Smith, or I like Eminem. You could take that for what it is. I don't like 21 Savage mostly, generally, but I enjoyed this project. And I've spun it a couple times since it dropped.
That's
It is.
crazy.
Right?
I'll tell
I'm
you
buying
the
a
truth.
lotto ticket.
I'm surprised.
I'm playing
surprised
21
that
on the lottery next week.
I'm surprised at y'all takes. I feel like me and Mike D were harder on the album than y'all were, but maybe that's because we're Atlanta and we take more stock in them and want them to win a little bit more. Because, I mean, me and Mike D started doing a new grading chart, and we're going to add a criteria to the grading chart. But based on how we did the criteria chart, it's like his album would have gotten a D.
Damn.
Ooh, that's
What?
rough,
Fellas.
man.
Whoa.
A D?
How much time do y'all have?
What's the rubric
Fellas,
on that?
let
What
me
the hell?
Yeah, go over the rubric
before
real
we
quick.
get
Also, that needs a pause. Also, but continue.
fellas, before we even get out of here, me and Jov currently have 21 as the king of Atlanta. Do y'all disagree?
He's from the UK, so yeah.
Oh man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Not that
Wow.
again.
He
Copy.
is.
Copy.
Sheesh.
I see. Yo, Coop, you good?
Y'all king?
He is.
Y'all
Did I
think
say
he's king down
something
here?
wrong?
We just
Hey
dropped that
man.
grenade
Y'all
and
think
No
he's
bounced.
king down
comment. That's y'all
King of
town, so
Atlanta.
no comment. You heard?
Of the young guys, not he like this the Atlanta Mount Rushmore. We know who those people are, but the young guys, the babies, and all of that, it's him. He got it.
Right.
I honestly think
Mount
I
Rushmore
would
is
pick
different.
Gunna out of this.
Got a station in Atlanta again.
I mean, Gunna
You
got the
seen the music
music,
video?
man.
They wasn't dancing to that music in Atlanta. He got more love in Brooklyn than he got in Atlanta.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold
It's
on.
a, I'm
Hold on,
gonna keep it
George.
real. It's a tough time for the
Hold on.
city right now. It's a
Hold
tough
on.
time for the
Hold
city.
on. George. That's more
What's up?
about the not music related stuff. If
Okay.
we were going by the music, I would pick Gunna too. But somebody reminded me too, the streets is always going to be a part of hip hop, so it can't be Gunna. And so by default, it might be 21 right now. Baby is not real.
Welcome home,
There
Coop.
we go.
Welcome
There we
home.
go.
I'm going Offset.
No.
Oh man.
But
Give me Offset.
Opinions?
why? Okay, so look, I'm gonna read the rubric out to y'all. Y'all tell us what y'all think of our rating, and we're gonna add hooks to this rating. But for production, we gave it 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Lyrics, we gave it a
Okay.
5.5 out of 10. Content, we gave it a 3 out of 10. Flow/delivery, we gave a 4 out of 10.
Shit.
Impact, we gave a 9 out of 10. And sequencing, we gave a 5 out of 10. Are we being too hard on 21? Because
That
if
A
you
little
fourth,
were
that
bit.
back,
Damn.
Content deserves more than a 3, bro.
Yeah.
okay.
It's a lot of
And I
bang
don't know if
bang
you
shoot 'em
can
up, man.
gauge impact yet, to be honest.
right.
It's hard to
Yeah.
We're
get.
talking about impact for his audience. So when y'all are saying he's the king of Atlanta, that's why we gave the impact a 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, the
No.
impact is big. I mean, the songs are everywhere. I mean, he's probably gonna do crazy numbers first week. Of course, everything that he's put on the album's probably gonna chart. So the impact's there.
So where do you think we're wrong? You think the content deserves more than a 3, and the flow and delivery sounds more than a 4? Because somebody made a noise when I said flow delivery of 4. Are we being too hard?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think the flow and well, not the flow, but the delivery is what makes him him. The flow is what it is. You know what I mean? So that's tough. A D.
Yeah, that's tough.
Five,
Like,
Y'all are
all right,
harsh
you know what?
critics,
at
man.
least.
Before
5.5.
I jump
5.5.
out of here, I'll ask this question: If on a scale of what the rapper is, what is 10 for flow? Like, who would be your 10?
Method Man.
Right
Off the
now,
top of my head.
bro. I
Oh,
was
right
thinking
now.
like Biggie, Tupac,
Because I
and
feel like
Jay are
if we
10s for
do it a
flow.
1 to 10, like, you know what it is for me? Like, if I feel like a guy's not a good technical rapper, I can't grade him the same way I'll grade a Nas. You know what I'm saying?
You
So
know
I
who
feel like
has
if,
a 10 flow? J. Cole.
Right.
J. Cole's at the 10.
No,
right,
I was gonna say
like
Future. Future would be a 10 for the flow. Future's flow is like
yeah,
he's
then
not the best lyric.
if
Future
that's
would
the
be a
scale,
10.
then
So
yeah, then I can see why you give him that
Okay.
grade. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
That
guys,
makes
man.
sense.
We
Yeah.
appreciate y'all stopping by, man. This has been epic. We got to do this more often.
Thanks.
Yes,
That's a
Man,
yes.
fact,
we'll
yeah.
do it again.
y'all next
You know what I
time.
mean? Come down the block. We'll do it again. The hip hop quarterly or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's do it,
You
man.
know?
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we
The
should
game needs
we should
this.
probably
Quarterly
we
conference.
should probably,
Yeah.
You know?
we should probably do this like once every 3-4 months. Like me, Mike D, and I were talking about doing like a quarterly assessment where like every
There
quarter,
you go.
like every 3-4 months or so, we all sit down and like break bread and like chop it up about it.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
We can really
With it.
State of
assess
the Union
2024.
type of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll pull up on y'all next time. Just real
Yeah.
quick, Benny or Conway had a better album. Who's about to have a better album, Benny or Conway?
Low key, I'm
Benny.
riding with Benny.
Okay.
Y'all all
I
say
got to put
Benny?
it on Benny, man.
Yeah,
Benny.
Braun brought me back around. Braun
Me too.
made the first 2 singles make more
Yeah.
sense.
Mm.
Yep, I agree.
I got to put it on Benny. Yep.
All right,
All
gentlemen.
right, let me get up out of here.
Go
Love
check out
y'all.
Rap
Peace,
Roundtable.
peace.
Hit like and subscribe with Rap Roundtable. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have these discussions all the time. This is a beautiful thing that's coming together. So, yeah, appreciate y'all coming through. And we're going to be on
Thanks for
y'all
having
show
us,
next time.
fellas.
Yeah,
For
Appreciate
sure.
pulling
it,
up
yeah.
on y'all next.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, man, that was fun, man. Let me get to these super chats, man. I know I done left people hanging. K Nicole with the super chat says, if Jay were to drop another solo song, which of his past songs would you want it to resemble lyrically? That's a good question.
If I'm talking lyrically, because here's what I'm saying. It's like the money talk has gotten so big. I would want him on some rap shit just to show how great he still is. And so I know this might surprise you. I would want to hear something comparable to a threat or a lyrical exercise, like
Mm.
something that displays the totality of his skills.
Well,
Like
you
where
know
it's like,
what? Since you
because
want
he
to
has
go
great,
there,
yeah.
I think around that time when he put out Dead Presidents 3. Remember when he did that? It's around the time when he was doing like the 44 fours and stuff like that.
4 4s will do.
Yeah, so when he's going on lyrical tirades like that, I think the world would really, really stop. And not like, artificially stop like it's been doing. But you know me, man, I love the Rock Boys. I think that was like a perfect record at the age that he was, where it was like a party record, but it was a grown man party record. It was mature and it was dope. And it sounded so natural for him.
Hey, you want to know what? The fellas on Rap Roundtable, and shout out to them. I appreciate them coming out.
Yeah, man, that
They
was
did
awesome.
make me. Yeah, it was. It's always a great time when we get together. They did make me realize something, though, Mike. We may have graded 21's content based on how we view content and not based on his trajectory for content. So he might deserve a double up on content from a 3 to a 6.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and listen to the album, and with the criteria in mind, because when I listened to it, I didn't have the criteria in mind. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Jarv, Nas is one of the most popular rappers, and in 6 albums, there's no Empire State. How? 50 plus songs and nothing comparable to Jay-Z's Highs, fam."
First
Andrew
of all,
Williams, go ahead.
hold on, stop. Mike, Empire State of Mind is not one of Jay-Z's highs. Next question.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says, "Salute A2HH and Rap Roundtable. I do think the Nas will drop again next year because he's in such a zone. Cole has to come through with a great album, though. That's when we should all meet up again. We should meet up again after Cole drops." Mad Max with
Oh,
the
yes.
super chat says, It didn't spread like wildfire, Coop. Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly were heavily promoted by media. Why don't you remember See the Devil Acting Like Dot was the GOAT? Andrew Shashir with the super chat says, Jay needs to divorce Beyonce, then he'll drop a classic. LOL. Mad Max with the super chat says, "Fam, Good Kid, Mad City was promoted like it was Dot's debut. Then all of a sudden, Section 80 was a media jargon. Good Kid, Mad City ain't go crazy like Pop Smoke did off Jump."
Yeah,
Um,
hold on. Those
go-
are lies. Hold on, Mike. You want to know how I know those lies? Remember the TV show The Game?
Mhm.
They
I,
were playing Money Freeze on The Game, Mike, to lead off one of their shows.
I
Like, why
remember.
good? Yeah, like
No,
stop
Good
that.
Kid, Mad
Like,
City stopped everything.
yeah, Pop Smoke
It
ain't never had record on no black TV. No, stop
It's
that.
Interscope. That's all you need to know, man. Interscope debut albums that they go all in on, do not lose. Rigomatic with the super chat says, "Hope you're cheering for New York only team Sunday, Bills." Andrew Williams with the super chat says, "Nobody listens to Empire State of Mind."
Right.
Mad Max in the super chat says, "We 15 years in Drake's career having the hip hop discussion. Been so good that he can't be moved off his spot by no one. So we try to try these tropes like the pop talk." I agree with Mad Max on that. I think this is because you know what, these records that this guy has set we can't beat, and if we could classify him as hip hop, there's going to be no way to beat him in hip hop. So he's not hip hop anymore.
People need to just eat the food on Drake, really, at the end of the day, and understand that he's been our greatest hit maker. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. He
Yep.
also has bars. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. He's also battle tested. Even though he's won some and lost some, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter how you feel. Your feelings are not facts.
CJ Kid with the super chat says Drake is going to make a song, Let Most Down. You know what? I'll say this. I do see Drake possibly responding on record because that's what he does. He's one of the subliminal kings that we have out here. He'll put something real clever in a bar. And I think, based on the things that Moses said and the fashion that he said it, he should respond. He should. He started this. And he
Yasin,
said that he was going to battle Drake before.
Yasin is always one of the people that you should be leery of because of his capabilities. But if
hmm
Drake wants to respond, I'm all here for that.
I mean, listen, we saw what Drake did when he jumped out the window on the Pusha T situation. He ain't scared until, Pusha
Oh no,
responded.
being
But
scared, Mike, being scared got nothing to do with getting your ass whooped, though.
no, but I respect the person that steps in the ring. Mike H with the super chat says, "Appreciate the collabo. We appreciate y'all, man. Y'all here for it. We here for it." Jadarian with the super chat says, "The question was asked about Drake, who knew who knew who she was talking to. And most comment was not about singing versus rap. There's social criticisms in his answer." Okay, so the question was asked by a Drake who knew who she was talking to, and most comments was not about singing versus rap. There were some social criticisms in his answer. CJ Kid with the super chat says, "F it. I'm gonna make Raucous versus YCMB playlist. Wish me luck." Mike H with the super chat says, "I'm listening to Diggable Planets and 36 Chambers around the same time, but I'm not from New York." Maybe that was more of a New York thing, because us people outside of New York probably listening to all the New York guys at the same trajectory. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Mike, it was Bad Boy that created the demand for backpack music, and then Black Star appeared, so it felt classic to the crowd like Dead Prez felt to some." CJ Kid with the super chat says, "Rap Roundtable, was you guys playing Moment of Truth in '98 with all that stuff coming out? Being from Jersey, my dad played it a lot when I was a kid. I remember Moment of Truth came out. It was a big hurrah, man. Like, that was back when the box was on, and I would always see Royalty on the box. Royalty is beautiful, man. Beautiful,
Moment
man.
of, Moment of truth is their victory lap, and I think the guys alluded to it when I asked the question. It's like they gave Gangstar Shogun stats, so
Yeah.
that means supreme clientele like the Ghostface album, Mike. That means everybody's bumping it.
Humble Bragger with the super chat says 21 had Drake write some of his verses on her loss. Why is 21 even a topic here? CJ
Well,
Kid with the $20 super chat showing love. He says, I was listening to Ghost Town DJ's My Boo, and it reminded me of Jeanne's Hey Mr. DJ. I was wondering if both were the same song, just the sound of, are based on the regions that they come from. If so, what is the West Coast version? Summertime in the LBC would be the West Coast version of that. I never correlated those two songs together, maybe because I'm from here. Jeanne's Hey Mr. DJ is a sample. Ghost Town DJ's My Boo isn't. But, go off. What were you going to say, Coop?
no, keep going.
No. I think Ghost Town DJ's My Boo is one of the greatest songs to ever come out of the city of Atlanta. But Jeanne's
Yeah,
Hey Mr. DJ is a classic as well. I was listening to it the other day.
I mean, I think My Boo would make the top 20 Atlanta songs list. Yeah.
Easy. Easy. If we just talking all songs,
Yeah, we're talking all the songs.
top 10.
I
It's
was
a big
thinking top
record.
10 like that.
That's a
I
big
remember where
record.
I remember where I was the first time I heard My Boo.
It was big in the moment. It was big after the moment. And
It's
it
big.
was big recently. Like,
It's big now. It's real talk.
it,
It's real big.
I personally believe that, those So Death Bass All Star albums, they were able to make 3, which was dope. Shout out to JD for that. That song, I believe, funded all 3 of those projects.
I thought it was on part 2. I thought
It
I
was
heard
on
him say
part
so.
1. Yeah.
It's part 1. I thought
Yeah,
it
the
was part
single
2.
on part 2 was that Summertime song. Remember they did that Summertime remake?
Yep.
And part 3 single was the that Belle Biv DeVoe remake. Um, See You
JD
Smile
definitely.
Again.
JD's one of JD's biggest checks is definitely My Boo.
Definitely. MJ with the super chat says, could be a regional thing, but in LA, YG, My Crazy Life was greater than K Dot's Good Kid, Mad City. I mean, you were on the line with the Glove. They weren't really bumping Kendrick. Well, most
I mean,
recent album like that, but
Mike, I've told you that YG is bigger in Compton and LA and in Inglewood than Kendrick. I said that.
see it.
That. I meant that.
Job said we got to use Zoom next time. The connection was better. Man, the connection was bad for me when I was putting in Zoom, man. Maybe it's something on my end. Because we tried to Zoom off top, and that was, man, it was choppy. We
You
would have
do need to
really been
find.
struggling with all of us on there.
I mean, not being funny, Mike. I don't want to call you up, but have you cleaned your database and your hardware yet?
You know what? I have, but I didn't do it before this show, and I should have done it before this show because we had all those people on the line. So yeah, that's probably a big one. You know what? I was working on my computer the other day. Shit just shut off. So yeah,
Yeah, Mike, you need to diversify your bonds, Mike. You're
yeah,
right.
that's me. Joe Young with the
We
super
gonna
chat says, and it's funny because I got this computer with the sole purpose of having nothing on it but doing stuff like this. But over time, it just builds up. Y'all already know. Joe Young with the super chat says, I'm glad you guys hooked up with Rap Roundtable, showing love. Coop, me and you thinking the same thing. Threats and breathe easy for Hope. Great content. Keep building. Appreciate the love. CJ Kid with the super chat says, wanted to hear Coop's opinion on that super chat too. About the Mabu and the Jeanne.
I had never made that correlation before. I'm trying to think of a female group coming out of the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like had a similar theme. And so I would submit to you. I know you gave because of the vibe, you gave "Summertime in the LBC," which I think vibe wise is correct. But if I'm sticking more to the core theme of a female group, I would think 702 is where my girls at because they're from Vegas. 702.
Hmm. What about what was that group? Soul Sable? That back in the day song that was on the Bud Rim soundtrack?
Sweet Sable.
Sweet Sable.
Yeah. Yeah, old time's sake.
Old Time's
When
Sake, that's the name of it.
and smoking a blunt. Right.
That was a
And
big
sleep.
song for the time.
Yo, that shit used to play in Charlotte all the time.
Oh, they were
All
playing
the
it down here too. The Above the Rim soundtrack had a bunch of singles on it, man. Like,
Above the Rim soundtrack's the best rap soundtrack of all time, Mike.
Juice is celebrating 32 years today. 32 years ago today, Juice was in the theaters. That
That's
soundtrack.
the train.
And it's crazy. I was
That's
just looking at Juice the other day, and it opens up with No to Ledge.
no, I remember. That's what I'm saying. That's the transition. It's like the epic Rakim song, but Tupac's the star of the movie. That's the hip hop transition
Mm,
because Tupac is the transitional piece in hip hop history,
I
and that's
agree.
where the transition happens. Yeah,
Tupac is hip hop's Captain Planet, man, where it's like he has everything from all of the guys that you loved before and around his time. He has
he,
the image of a LL Cool J. He has the consciousness of a Chuck D. He has the I don't give a fuck attitude of an Ice Cube.
yep.
He's everything.
I was about to say I was thinking more of the appeal of a Kane than a
Mm,
LL, but he has a sense of consciousness like a KRS-One.
yeah,
He has some of everything, Mike.
it's a militance about him, like a KRS-One.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he's got some of KRS, he's got some of Kane, he's got some of Chuck, he's got some of Ice Cube, he's got a little Rakim in there. He's like still a street dude, so there's some Cool G rap in there. You know what I'm saying? It's like yeah, Mike, he's all the things. Yeah,
And
he
then he
is.
was evolving into his own thing because we're talking really about early Pac. And when he got to the All Eyes on Me Pac, he was just this domino of his own self. Like he was, it's so crazy to say he was far removed from the Pac we saw in Juice because it was only a couple of years. But that
But he
growth,
was.
man, and this is why when we're talking about this 21 Savage album, 21 Savage was on the cover of the 2016 XXL, right? 2016 was 7 years ago. We're talking
And
about the growth. Is 8 now? I'm tripping. Yeah, you're right.
we're-
Yeah, I'm still in 2023. 8 years ago, right? And we're talking about 8 years. That's a long time in hip hop. The growth from Pac, from Juice to All Eyes on Me, what are we talking about? 3, 4 years?
about 4 years, astronomical.
Yeah, that's growth. And even when you look at Biggie from Ready to Die to Life After Death, the growth in that 3 year period
Astronomical.
artistically is astronomical. So when we see somebody 8 years later who is not progressing, I guess as an artist, but we would at least like for you to grow as an artist and as a person. Like getting the same thing 8 years later, it's just not gonna ride. I don't care who you are.
But it's not fair to compare 21 to Tupac or Biggie Smalls, though. And that's where I
Well,
wanted
I'm
to
just
go off.
talking about the growth, though. Like, even if we talk about Tribe, right? I was listening to People's Instinctive. I personally love that album. But the growth from People's Instinctive to the Low End Theory, it's a whole different damn group. It
I was about
really
to say,
is.
Mike,
It's
they're
a
not
whole
even
different group.
they're not even the same group.
They're not even the same group.
Yeah,
Let's look at Outkast, right? Keep it with our city. Look at Southern Playalistic in '94 and look at Stankonia in 2000. That growth, man. That's
Mike,
that's 6 years.
Mike, Outkast literally formed a new group every 2.5 years.
They did.
They formed a whole new group every 2 years. Every 2 years, it was like, okay, new group, same name. It says Outkast. It's a totally different group.
Let's look at 50 Cent when he did Can I Borrow a Dollar, which didn't come out, but it was a pretty dope album. The growth from there to Get Rich or Die Trying, I mean, what we talking about? 3 years, 3, 4 years?
I feel like Power of the Dollar is 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get Rich is 2003. Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
And getting shot
So,
in between.
yeah. I
So
mean,
he
so
was
yeah, he
down.
had a lot going on in between all that.
I mean, he was down for about 6, 7, 8 months, Mike. That's what I'm saying. He damn near lost one of those years, so you could really call it 3 years.
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Dope show, fellas, but forgive me, y'all. Forgive me, y'all. Sometimes I feel like Farrakhan talking to Mike Wallace. LOL. There's the bar. CJ Kid with the super chat says Mike didn't forget. Mike didn't forget you didn't put my boo on your Atlanta list. I know it's not a rap. That's not a rap song, so I know. Yeah, I mean, did I do an Atlanta song list? Man, we got to do a whole Atlanta list
Hey,
overall.
look here. You can be Farrakhan all you want. You'll never be the brother over here. Never be the. Hold on, which way am I? Right here, right over there. You'll
Other
never
way.
be.
Yeah, the other way. But
Never be. Never be the brother, man.
so yeah, I mean, when we're not really given outstanding points for this one, I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna just lower the bar. I'm sorry, it's just not fair. And I get it. We're rating people and judging people by their potential, but when it comes to the albums and the music, I kind of throw the artist out the window, and it's about the music itself. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you attempt to have a theme that has a level of consciousness with it. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole American Dream, there was a theme there, and there was supposed to be a level of consciousness and a level of introspectiveness in that effort, and we didn't get that.
So I'll tell you what, Mike. Let's just go through our criteria real quick, and we're gonna go listen one more time because I want to get these album ratings right this year. Because I feel
Yeah,
like we're about to have a big year. No, I feel like we're about to have a big year, and that's why I want to change the grading scale to actual like grading scale, like actual test paper, like
right.
like right. And so if you want to write this down or type this in,
Yeah, I'm writing it right now. I got my pen out.
production, lyrics, content, flow/delivery, or do you want to separate them?
Uh, no, I think they're good together.
Impact, sequencing, and Mike, we forgot about hooks and how important hooks are. So I
Uh,
want to put
well, all right.
because
What I
the
like
quote.
better than hooks is just song making.
You want to talk song structure? You mean?
Yeah, something like that.
But but a hook is part of the song structure, but it doesn't mean we should take hooks out. Because I think, because how about this? Like I've noticed from a lot of our conversations, we give a lot of rappers passes when they ain't really that good with hooks. We need you niggas to step your game up. I told you this is a step your game up type of year. It's like think
It's
about this. Think about this, Mike. When Melly Mel and Duke were making the message, like think about Mel. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying
yeah,
not to lose my head. He had hook game in '81.
you're right.
Niggas need hooks.
It's easier to judge hooks for individual songs than full albums, but I do think that hooks are important. I mean, when we look at Get Rich or Die Trying, once again, the hook manifesto that this man put on that album, I think hasn't been rivaled by any individual MC that I can think of off top. Like he did everything on there.
If we're
And
talking
in
about hooks by
21 questions, he could have done that too, but he didn't.
if we're talking about hooks by one MC on one album, let's get Rich or Die Trying, Mike.
Straight up, there's nothing that compares.
There's nothing that compares.
Nothing.
His hook performance on Get Rich or Die Trying is the best hook performance a solo MC's ever done in the history of rap.
Yeah, you got Mini Man, you got In the Club, you got High All the
What
Time,
up, gangster, Mike?
you
What up,
got Wangster, What Up Gangster, you got Patiently Waiting, everything,
blood,
man. You got
blood,
PIMP,
back down. I
back
know you
down.
like the style. All the hooks are fire, Mike. All
I
the hooks
gotta
on
make it to heaven for going through hell. Everything.
Mike. Hooks on NBA Jam, Mike. He's on fire, Mike. He's pulling
Yeah,
up from half
man.
court, double clutching, balls on fire when he shoots.
Now you know what? That's something that we should be able to see again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not expecting niggas to come out the gate rhyming like, you know what I'm saying, Inspect the Deck on Triumph or anything. But people having their hook game on 10 like that, that should be attainable. Michael Williams to the Super Chat says, what's the better album, Jesus Piece or Victory Lap? Also, who has the better voice out of the game and Nip? To me, man, I might go Jesus Piece. I mean, it's close, and I'm gonna go
I
with the game.
think Jesus Piece has more highlights, but I think Victory Lap end to end might be better.
I'm fine with that too. CJ Kid with the super
Victory
chat
Lap.
says, Mike, you forgot Coop gave you hell for not putting The Way You Move on the list. I do remember that now. Shout out to CJ Kid. He remembers all of our lists and everything.
You
I
are
do
fired.
remember that.
You are
I do
fired.
remember that. So okay, we got production, lyrics, content, flow/delivery, impact, sequence, and hooks.
And song structure, Mike. You asked for song structure.
Yeah, songs are important.
Songs are important because here's what I realized. I realized that Capital Punishment has greater songs than Black on Both Sides, but the consistent song structure of Black on Both Sides is what makes it better. It's the consistency of how consistent Most is at crafting out a song from beginning to end. It's not just like a big record. You know what I'm saying? And I realized Pun had more help than Most too. It's like Pun has Black Thought on Super Lyrical. He's got the whole TS on Glamour Life. He's got Joe on Not a Player. He's got Fat Joe on Twins. He's got Noriega on You Came Up. He's got Prodigy and Deck on Tres Leches. He's got Wyclef. He's got Miss Jones. He had a lot of help on Capital Punishment too.
That's true. I think
Yeah,
most Def is I mean, especially at the time, he was such a self-contained artist where I think his hook game is a 10. Like most Def's hook game is pretty crazy. And then him as an MC, he could carry a whole song himself. He has a special talent to do so. And I think that's why us as fans, we've always expected so much from Mos Def because we know in a vacuum everything that he encompasses. Like even when he's on stage on Brown Sugar on the movie, and you know what I'm saying, when Tay Diggs goes out to his concert or whatever, I'm like, man, this dude is captivating. Like he is the quintessential backpack MC, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And Kanye produced that song too.
man,
He
them
produced
songs
that
are like
song and the song that was the single in the movie, the Brown Sugar song. Yeah.
them songs are like that, but okay.
I mean, you know, for its individual market, I think it is. But I think Jar brought up an incredible point. Is it a backpack classic or is it a hip hop classic? Because those are two different things.
I mean, see, but that's the thing is like, and when we was having the conversation, it's like, well, is Chopper City in the Ghetto and Mister Don't Play hip hop classics or are they regional classics? Is uh is Above the Law's first album and MC8's We Come Out Strapped are those hip hop classics or are those regional classics? You know what I'm saying?
There's
Because
nothing
here's the
wrong
thing.
with them being regional classics. Because you know what? Mr. Don't Play to me is a classic through and through. But when we did that top hip hop albums of the 2000s and 2010s decade or whatever, I didn't have it on the list because it slipped my mind because I know how regional it is for me and how personal it is for me. And it should be on that list. But the truth of the matter is, it's more of a classic here than it is everywhere. And that's
Right.
not nothing against what they did. I've always said it's the purple tape of their crew. But the
I,
honest opinion is, it didn't touch the rest of the nation like it touched us. Pause.
I, when I was talking to Glove Mike, he's the one that reminded me. It's like I've been so stuck on Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life my whole life. I forgot about Easy Does It. Shame on me.
Yeah. And some could say to the region that album means.
Oh yeah, Easy Does It. Like you can't tell no West Coast nigga about no Easy Does It.
Right, right.
It will who bang on your ass like right there. Like Mike, it's not safe. You
Yeah.
know,
So, I mean, yeah, I think it's a fair assessment to say that Black on Both Sides could be a backpack classic and maybe not an overall hip hop classic. Because it depends
I
on
don't
who
like
you ask.
I don't like the terminology backpack classic. I would rather prefer to call it a regional classic than a backpack classic.
But see,
Black
that's the
back
thing. It's not really a
backpack.
regional thing because region wise, in New York, at that time, niggas was listening to Mobb Deep over Black on Both Sides. Like murder music was getting more burned than Black on Both Sides, I would imagine, regionally.
See, but this is what I'm saying. Murder music should get more burned than Black on Both Sides because they just got done making the infamous and Hell on Earth. You're damn right it's supposed to get more play.
And they got Quiet Storm out and the remix.
It's got Quiet Storm on there. You don't have a Quiet Storm. There's not a Quiet Storm on Capital Punishment or on Black on both sides.
Yeah. Well, we got to get out of here in a second, man. It's already 9:30, bro.
Yeah, man, it's time to go, man. I'm hungry.
This is a great show, though. You know what I'm saying? I like when those things come together. It's like Wu-Tang and Outkast coming together for Skewed on the Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Rap Roundtable for pulling up. Appreciate Jarv and Mace and Sin. Hopefully we can catch Deanie next time when we pull up on them. I
Yes.
guess it's our to pull up on them again. So we'll make it shake. But it was a good convo. Always good perspective. Always learn something. I always believe that you can learn something from everybody. You know what I'm saying? So like some of the shit that Sin and Jarv and Mace was putting down, like I took into account. I was so surprised at their 21 take. It made me feel like it's like, damn, we're being hard on Atlanta rappers like they're hard on New York rappers. It's a damn shame.
Well, what I got from is they don't really have any standards for him.
Nigga, I don't have no standards for him either. They made me feel like an asshole.
I got standards for him because I actually listened to 21, and I think this is a huge opportunity, and I don't think it was capitalized on all the way. Same thing I feel about kind of like how you liked the Offset album, but I was kind of like, I expected more because I had a standard for it in my mind, and I don't feel like he reached that. I mean, he did what he could do, but
No. I can totally understand that. I can totally understand the perspective. I was just, it'd be funny. It's like, sometimes you get in your own bunker, in your own barricade, and it was like, these niggas fuck with Savage Mode too? It's like, yeah.
Well, somebody brought up a good point, man. Mr. Don't Play did have Chicken Head and Don't Savor. Those are not regional. Obviously, Chicken Head has been redone by New York's biggest artist, Cardi B. I think over time, 3-6's legacy is one of the few hip hop bands or groups of its time that has grown immensely over time. Like they're way bigger now, or their songs are way bigger now than they were even when they were in their prime, which is amazing. So yeah, I think it's undeniable that Mr. Don't Play is a classic now. But if you would have asked people in 2010 if it was, that would have been more of a regional conversation. It's always been classic to us.
It is so fascinating to me because in the holy in not the Trinity, I mean, but like in the structure of Southern hip hop groups, it's always been Ghetto Boys, UGK, 8 Ball and MJG, 3-6 Mafia, and Outkast. And if you would have told me as a teenager, even a man in my 20s, that 3-6 Mafia would be the one that in our 40s, we could go back and say that production-wise, style-wise, and song-wise, we're having the most impact, even us would have laughed, Mike, because technically, if we're talking about groups, they were in 5th place.
Yeah.
Like they were in 5th place after Ghetto Boys, UGK, 8 Ball, MJG, and Outkast. Then it was 3-6. They were in 5th place down here. But to quote your boy Kanye, you in 1st place. You in 1st place.
Well, you know what? Speaking of 3-6 and their impact on production, I got to be honest, man. I'm a Metro guy, but if Metro keeps taking from their sound, we're gonna have to dock him on the production list and the overall producer list because we got to hear more of you and not them because people using them has bounced them up, but it can't bounce the people who are taking from them up as well. We got to dock for that.
I feel like when Metro works with Future is when we hear Metro.
Yeah. And they got an album coming out. I'm looking forward to that. He got an album with JID coming out. I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's leave the 3-6 stuff alone, and I want to see what you got, Metro. Because I know you got a lot.
I'm about to say, don't challenge Metro like that. Mike sounded a little shady.
He's incredible. Nah, I'm challenging the people that I love to do better. Mad Max with the super chat says, I told you Quavo's album was better than Offset.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right, man.
That far. Yeah, we're not going that far. But okay.
We got to set a date for the Rakim and Jay thing. And yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in. You know, hit like and subscribe, A2HH Live, and shout out to Rap Roundtable. Go to their page, follow them as well if you're not already. And yeah, let's keep this grassroots hip hop media thing going in a stronger way in 2024. And we got to challenge our artists to make better music because it's coming.
No, Mike, we're tightening up the critique. It's like we're handing out grades this year because I feel
Yeah,
like we're about to have a like no niggas is getting grades. Like Boldy and Craven getting a grade.
yeah,
Conway
because
Lenny, y'all getting grades.
the
I'm
1 to
getting
5 thing was kind of bailing people out, man. Now we're gonna really get into it with it.
yeah. No. You
Yeah, it's
getting
a
a
great
grade.
idea, Coop.
Yeah, you getting a grade. It's like if your shit is a C, guess what you getting? A C.
All
Your
right,
average ass,
man.
average ass rap album, according to hip hop, gonna give your ass a C. Fuck that 3.5 and 4 and 4. No. C, nigga. Average.
All right. Well, we're gonna holler at y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week.